To play 9 innings uninterrupted. Not so. Not the weather. It's the lights. The lights went out. The game was delayed. Those lights never came back on, but the players came back, and so did the Orioles, scoring 2 runs immediately after the delay and breaking the tie to earn a 5-3 victory. Tonight, a victory, and the Orioles would guarantee a series win. We're going to see if they can get it done. It's the Orioles on Masson, and back we are at the Trop in St. Petersburg, Florida, as we get set for the middle game of this 3-game set. The Orioles and the Rays. The O's have won all 3 games played against the Rays so far this year. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Thorne, and welcome for Oriole fans today. It was wait and wait and wait to hear about Matt Wieters. He went to see Dr. James Andrews today in Pensacola, Florida, to have that throwing elbow looked at. He is back with the ball club, arrived about an hour ago. We had a chance to talk with him and asked him, all right, so what did the doctor say?
Anytime you can't really tell with MRIs what's new, what's old, and so it's a matter of just trying to figure out, what's been there and what was just a little bit agitated, and we'll figure that as it goes on, but really the main thing is just try and let it rest for a little while and then get back going and see how you feel.
We're trying to let it kind of scar over a little bit, and I think we're going to try to see if and it's not a given that he's going to have some form of surgery either. A lot of guys manage this the rest of their career, so it's about as good a news as you could, but we weren't after our doctors had seen everything's kind of been the same diagnosis. Just a little more detailed, and guys that have seen a lot of elbows and shoulders of major league catchers. Doesn't hurt him to hit at all, but either way, that's not a factor. But as soon as it I'm not going to give you exact time frame of when he'd be catching again. But I think if it proceeds down the path that we hope it does, he'll be catching again, in the near future.
So there you go, the comments. Now, what you'll notice in that, Mike Bordick, there's no name for what it is. They haven't said what the problem is, except discomfort in his throwing elbow.
Yeah, well, it seems like there might be an old injury there, maybe some scar tissue that had developed, and possible tear of the scar tissue. So kind of letting it rest. Hopefully that inflammation kind of calms itself down and Matt Wieters goes right back to normal. I mean, he would be missed dearly if he wasn't behind the plate for the Baltimore Orioles. I mean, high throwing out percentage at 35-39% every year. I mean, take a look as a catcher, 337 average, 5 home runs, 18 RBIs. 5 doubles in 22 games. I mean, he's off to the best start of his career. Last night, 2 for 5 as the designated hitter. You see the numbers below in his career, but Matt Wieters has made some adjustments offensively, especially left-handed, and he's gotten his average up there, 2nd highest batting average in the American League right now. So swinging the bat very well. Fortunately, he can still swing the bat, so Buck Showalter will be able to use him there. But defensively, that's where they're going to miss him. And you can see the results of the sore elbow. Just 1 for 12 in stolen base attempts this year. That's just 8%, way off his career average.
And Caleb Jofus is here, and he's going to be the catcher tonight. A major league debut for him. When we come back, Nelson Cruz, the offensive leader of the Orioles, we'll have a chance to chat with him about how this season's going. Southwest Airlines. Find Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com. And by Ocean City, Maryland. Put your vacation days to good use at Ocean City, Maryland. Book now at ococean.com. Those are not the Rays. The Orioles have to play, and they're thankful about that. Nelson Cruz will be in the lineup. What a season. 298. He's got 9 home runs, 29 RBIs, leading the Orioles. Those RBIs, second most in the American League. He has done it all for the O's. I asked him before tonight's game, did he come to the Orioles with a chip on his shoulder because nobody else seemed to want him? Is that what's gotten him off to the start?
I come every year, you know, to prove something to myself. You know, it's not. I don't like to see it that way, to prove something to somebody. You know, it's just for myself. And but no doubt, you know, I think some question marks, and I want to make sure, you know, I do the right thing, and then I play hard, you know, and I contribute to help the team win games, you know, like I've been doing in the past.
The Orioles' reception was one that pleased you when you held that press conference. Did you talk about that, what that meant to you?
Yeah, I mean, every time I had a chance to say thanks, you know, and I say thanks in public, you know, to my teammates, because that definitely meant a lot to me. You know, the first day that I came to come and see all my teammates and the manager, GMs, I mean, everybody was there, and it showed support, it showed they're part of the team and a part of the family, so that definitely meant a lot.
You haven't DH'd a lot in your career. This year you have. How do you like it?
I do whatever I can, you know. It's not my favorite spot, but like I said, I'm here to help the team, you know. If you ask me, I would prefer to be in the outfield. I think that I can help better play in the outfield than what I do and play defense, you know. But like I said, you know, I'm just here to help whatever they decide to put me on. I'm here to do it.
Any sense of why the season has started so well for you offensively? Is there anything you've done differently, or is it just happening?
Usually I start pretty good, you know. If you see my numbers, maybe the first week or two is good. After that, you know, I kind of slow down. But I think this year, I put a lot more emphasis in my workouts, you know, and the way I prepare for the games, you know, my routines for the games, it'd be more consistent than what it was in the past.
Listen, how important is it to you that you've been able to put the things over the last couple of years behind you and just play baseball? That's got to be a feeling of relief for you.
Yeah, like I said before, you know, last year people asked me how I was able to put the kind of numbers that I put last year with that type of pressure, you know. I think I'm good at separate stuff, you know, whatever is going on outside the field, just leave it behind. And when I'm on the field, just focus on the things that I can control, just play baseball. So I think the experience that I get from last year, you know, it helped me to be a better player and be a better person. So I take advantage of the situations that make you better. If they break you, it make you better, it make you stronger. So I think that's the case.
Final question: impressions of this ball club coming to the Orioles. What do you see?
I see a pretty good team. You know, I don't think we be a consistency that we want right now, but the whole division has been like that. So we playing better than all the other 5 teams, and it's just a matter of time that we put the consistency that we want on a regular basis. You know, I think we do pretty good like a series against the Padres, and when we Minnesota win that game, and I thought for some reason that we fight a group. You know, we lost those two games there, and then come back here and win the game. So.
And Cruz will be in the lineup tonight. And we are ready to go as Nick MARKAKIS will take the pitch. Take a look at our train game time temperature. Visit trainsearch.com to find your local train comfort specialist dealer. It's hard to stop a train really hard. 72 inside, 83, and sunny skies all day long outside here in St. Pete. MARKAKIS with a 1 for 4 in the ball game last night. He will foul that one off. Take a look at our starting lineup brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Their fares online only at southwest.com. MARKAKIS, Machado and Cruz, Jones, Hardy and Young, Pierce, Jonathan Schoop, and Caleb Joseph catching his major league debut just called up today. Or as I said, I would say he's actually playing in net tonight. He is the goaltender for the Orioles.
He's a big hockey fan.
And the 0-2 delivery on the way, and that will be down low. against the left-hander, the Orioles.
Yeah, take a look at Cesar Ramos's pitch arsenal. Fastball 53%, that breaking ball 29%. Now he's got a slider. It's a tight little slider and a big slow curveball. Occasional changeup as well. 9 games this season, 4 starts. Due to injury, he's been put into the rotation. 2.91 earned run average.
No record against the Orioles, has appeared against them in relief. Markakis will take it in the dirt. And Nick will work the count to 2-2. Numbers on the season. The .304 average bolstered by the 13-game hit streak that Nick Markakis has going right now. Nick against the lefties hitting .241. Below his .323 average against right-handers. The Orioles against left-handed starters this year have won 1 and lost 3. Markakis will start it out with another base hit. Into right field. Myers over to get it, and it's a 14-game hit streak now for the Oriole right fielder.
Let's take a look at the Tampa Rays defense behind Ramos this evening. Joyce, Jennings, and Myers in the outfield. Escobar and Zobrist up the middle. Longoria over at third with Loney at first base, and Hannigan once again behind the plate.
And Manny Machado will stand in with the leadoff man on. Nick Markakis started the ball game last night with a base hit in the first inning. First at bat, does the same thing here tonight. Manny had a 1 for 3 in the ball game last night. And Loney will hold it first on Markakis. Ramos delivery, and that's inside. Hannigan had that one bounce. He had a busy night last night, and Ramos is starting him out tough again tonight with a lot of balls in the dirt.
Yeah, he took a beating in last night's ball game. Took one off the shoulder, a foul ball, one off the foot, got hit in the glove with a backswing. I mean, he was just getting hit all over the place. Really surprised he's playing today, but a tough guy. Everybody on his team loves him. He's one of those, guys that loves to get dirty and play hardball.
That will be fouled off. Caught a piece of him as it went by, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count. So Manny Machado trying to get his bat going, as again we mentioned last night, the limited number of games played. It's only his 6th game back. He has scored a couple of runs. The 4 hits have all been singles so far. He's had a couple of walks, and he has not struck out. Markakis at first, double play depth for the infield with a 1-ball, 1-strike count. The left-hander's delivery to him, and he tried to take it the other way into the seats. Which reminds me, if you want to see something scary, and I think it should be run in every ballpark before every ball game of the Major League season. On MLB.com, there's a foul ball hit by Steve Pearce in the ball game last night that went over the Oriole dugout. You will not believe how close it came to hitting a person directly in the face who was not watching the game. It went over his left shoulder. It was right there in the first row. And the ball was lined, I mean lined, hard. That one bounced. Markakis started. Hannigan keeps it in front, and the runner will go back to first base. Nice. Hannigan's going to come out and say, you know something, I got hurt last night. I don't need any more of this.
That is a really good block right there. That ball bounced 2 feet out in front of home plate, a little slider. Ramos has had some command issues, typically pretty good. I mean, throughout his career, a pretty good walk ratio. In his last start, 4 2/3 innings of work, 6 walks in the ball game, and he's had 10 walks over his 15 2/3 innings of work in his last 4 appearances. So something to keep an eye on. I'm sure the Orioles hitters are going to be patient.
He is, of course, supposed to be in the bullpen, but for the injuries to 3 of their starters, so he's taking the place of Matt Moore, who's on the 15-day DL. He started the season making 4 relief appearances, then got moved into the rotation. Joe Madden talking with him before the game today, he said Ramos will be coming out of the rotation. He's not staying. Once we get our guys back, we want him back in the bullpen. He can be a setup guy for the closer and even close some games if necessary.
Yeah, real valuable long man for the Rays.
2-2 will go to center. Starting back on it, Jennings. He'll come in now and put it away, and Manny Machado is retired. So Markakis back to first base with 1 down. Ramos has actually had a relief appearance since his last start. He had a start against the Red Sox on May 1, a game that he lasted only 4 2/3 that Mike was talking about, and then he had a relief appearance on the 3rd against the Yankees for an inning where he struck out 2 and walked 1. And so his last appearance actually is the third in one inning of relief.
Well, they needed some pitching help, and the Rays have needed pitching help all season long. The most used bullpen in the game, and that was probably his bullpen day. So give him an inning of work, help spare another arm out there in the bullpen. But he had pitched he threw 95 pitches. That's the most he's thrown in his career in that last start. So that's something to keep an eye on as well. I mean, the effects of throwing that many when you're not used to it.
He's a 29-year-old veteran. He's clearly struggling here in the first inning. These pitches out of the strike zone are way off the mark. Nelson Cruz at the plate. Nelson's got a 7-game hit streak. He continued it last night, going 2 for 5 in the ball game, among the leaders in a lot of offensive categories in the league. And that pitch is in there for a strike. Batting third in the lineup. He is right now third in home runs, second in RBIs, starting the day. And against left-handers, he's got the second highest average in the league at .455 against left-handed pitchers. Ramos with a 1-1 delivery to him, and that one's off the end of the bat and foul. Little Twitter chatter for you here. You take a look at this is from Nelson Cruz. That's Chris Davis's bat. Chris has had that since last year. I don't know why he carries that around with him. I guess I don't know how, but there they are before the ball game.
Good stuff. A couple legitimate power hitters right there, and I bet they could swing that bat.
Davis continues to work out, feeling good. Could be back on the 11th, probably won't be, but soon after that he may be playing again. 1-ball, 2-strike delivery. Cruz will take the pitch, and that will be inside, maybe a little low, and the count will go to 2-2. Orioles want to pick the pace up against left-handers. We mentioned the 1-3 record they have as a team. They're hitting only .227 off lefties and .274 off right-handers. Against the righties, they're 15-11, a real good mark. 2-ball, 2-strike count. Claim to pull in the infield. He does. Line to short. Escobar 1. Relay to first. Turn a double play. Great play by Escobar. That ball was stung. So no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. Bud Norris to the mound. From Mount Vernon, Maryland, the 1829 historic district, home to the country's first monument to George Washington, the highest point in Baltimore, home to some great cultural institutions, the Baltimore Symphony, the Walters Art Museum, the Lyric Opera House, and more, and some great restaurants there, too, all part of Birdland. Starting lineup for the Rays: Obrist, Jennings, and Joyce, Longoria, Loney, and Myers, DeJesus, Escobar, and Hannigan. Longoria last night with a long ball, 2 RBI homer in the first inning.
And here's a look at the pitch arsenal for Bud Norris this season. Real good fastball, uses 62% of the time, gets it up in the mid-90s. That breaking ball is a hard one. Loves it down and away, uses it 28% of the time, and has really started to develop that changeup. Nice secondary offering for Bud Norris. 5 starts this year, 2-2 record, 3.94 earned run average. Opponents hitting .274. Lefties down to .233. Righties up to .321.
And let us not let the moment pass by. His battery mate is making his major league debut. Caleb Joseph called up from AAA. He has paid the price. He is 28 years old. A lot of time spent in Bowie AA. His manager, coaches, teammates sent him off with a round of applause. And here he is to receive the first pitch at the major league level. And he is now in the major leagues. And the pitch is taken for a strike.
Yeah, good stuff. I mean, Caleb Joseph, one of those guys that's worked so hard. He's a 7th round pick back in 2008. Had some real good offensive years in the minor leagues, but just learning how to catch is what he's had to do. I think the last couple years, his exposure in big league camp has helped him a lot, working with Matt Wieters and John Russell. And he has really refined his skills back there. And John Russell talks about his receiving and blocking have come such a long way. Now, Caleb Joseph doesn't have the strongest arm back there, but he's developed a quicker pop time, quicker release. So he has developed the right way. There's a look at John Russell, Matt Wieters' personal coach.
8 for 24 at AAA, throwing out base stealers for Joseph. Good number. Van Zobrist. And Zobrist will foul that one back. And the count off that fastball is evened up. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Zobrist had a 1 for 3 in the ball game last night. Zobrist switch hitting leadoff batter. He's faced Norris before. Many in this lineup have. Zobrist is 1 for 8 against Bud Norris. That one hit a home run. 2-2 delivery to him, and that'll be inside. And Norris will take the count full 3-2. Bud has got a 1-2 mark lifetime against the Rays, a 4.19 earned run average against Tampa Bay as he starts this middle game of the 3-game set. And that pitch is inside for Caleb Joseph behind the plate. People just like him. Listen to the comments from Buck Showalter.
I talked to Brian Graham today about what I should expect, in the same way Ron Johnson called him and said, Caleb's just gotten better and better and better. And pitchers really like, one common thing, pitchers really like throwing to this guy. Very engaged with the game. I think he'll be a quick study with those advanced reports. As long as he doesn't give it too much credit, he'll be all right. But he's trying to be a little cool. It's a pretty big moment for him. It's and he deserves it.
On the catcher, Caleb Joseph.
Yeah, he had some great exposure in spring training this past spring. I think Buck Showalter really got to know Caleb Joseph and understand that he is very passionate about his job. He works extremely hard at it. Obviously, to get this opportunity in the big leagues is a testament to his work ethic, but he also has a great lighter side. One of the funniest guys you'll ever want to meet. Does incredible impersonations. And
especially Buck Showalter.
Yeah, enjoys the lighter side of the game as well.
Runner on at first base. Jennings up and 0 for 5 in the ball game last night. Throw over almost in the dirt. Good play by Pierce. His head first. Zobrist had to go back to the bag. There you see the numbers for Jennings with that 281 mark coming into the series, putting some numbers up offensively for this team. Showed bunt and meant it. Now he's bunting for a base hit right there. He wanted to test Pierce. He was trying to push that down the first baseline and didn't get it down.
Yeah, push it in that hole. Actually, Jonathan Scope slid over in the middle and double play depth. A real big hole over there. So kind of no man's land. If he can fill that hole up with a bunt, he's going to have a great opportunity for a base hit.
Now count goes to 0-2, so everybody will back up. Against Norris, he's had a couple of hits in 5 at-bats for Desmond Jennings. At first base, Zobrist not going. Ooh-ah! That will gain your attention.
That's some old school baseball right there. Getting ahead 0-2 on Jennings, who's been really hot. This one just gets let go a little too late. Up and in. Dangerous pitch up there. But Joseph wanted it inside. Wanted to move his feet. Maybe not that close to the danger zone.
So Jennings will regroup. Jennings, 286 so far in the month of May. He's had 3 home runs this month. And he got a good cut on that one and fouled it back. So it'll stay at a ball and 2 strikes. Orioles coming away with the victory in the opener last night by a score of 5-3. Buck Showalter's team remains tied for first place. Percentage points ahead of the Yankees, who are 17-15. With the Orioles 16-14. And another one hopper over to Pierce. Tampa Bay now is last in the division, but that doesn't mean very much at the moment. Separation of the 5 teams in the American League East, 2.5 games. Tampa Bay on the bottom. It's Baltimore, New York, Boston, Toronto, and Tampa Bay.
Yeah, they've been kind of streaky this year.
Good pitch down and away, got him.
Beautiful slider, real hard slider as well. 88 miles an hour, and you talk about purpose pitches. That up and in fastball potentially set up this pitch here. Very hard, great velocity. Nice job by Caleb Joseph reaching out to catch it, hang on to that baseball, get a hot hitter out.
For Bud Norris, he's had 21 strikeouts in 30 innings pitched. He gives up about a hit per inning. He has walked a total of 8 now in the 30 innings that he's worked. Here is Matt Joyce. Joyce with a 1 for 3 in the ball game last night, hitting at .289. He's up among leaders in offensive numbers. Off him in a foul ball. Got him in the box.
Let's take a look at the Orioles defense tonight. CRUZ over in left field. Jones and MARKAKIS joining him in the outfield. Hardy and SCHOOP up the middle. Machado and Pierce on the corners, and Caleb Joseph making his first major league start behind the plate.
Joseph taking a look over for the sign from the dugout on whether they want to throw over, step off, hold the ball a little longer. Infield shifted on Joyce, and the pitch will be taken up high for a ball. Joyce right now is 5th in the American League in on base percentage. He's got 18 walks. They're 11th in the American League, so that's part of that on base number that he has got. Got the whole third baseline open. Another quick throw in the dirt. Pierce has made, I mean, they aren't way off the mark, but Pierce has done a good job making those catches on 3 of them over there.
Bud Norris making some quick snap throws to Pierce, and Bud's got some good velocity on his balls to home, and he's got a strong arm over to first as well. Those are some nice pickups by Steve Pierce.
Saw the signs from Russell in the dugout, the bench coach, and that pitch is going to be there for a strike. Clint Fagan is the home plate umpire, one of the young umpires at the major league level. Marty Foster, Alan Porter, crew chief Joe West make up the staff. A lot of new umpires the teams are going to have to find out about as they go along this season because of the setup in New York with the replay and new umpires having to come in with other umpires working there. In the dirt, nice stop by Joseph. That'll hold the runner at first base, and a 2-ball, 2-strike count.
Yeah, beautiful block right there. Nice job sliding over, getting on his knees, keeping his glove down. Now, Caleb Joseph, familiar with a lot of the Orioles starters after catching so many bullpens in spring training, so certainly helps him in that regard.
Boy, that helps. John Russell with the signs. Zobrist hasn't extended his lead over there at first base. Norris, 2-ball, 2-strike count. Outfield deep. Another throw over. Diving back in again is Zobrist.
Well, at some point the Rays are going to try to test Caleb Joseph, so plenty of pickoff throws here. Try to keep him close. There's a quick snap throw and tag by Steve Pierce. Zobrist, good job sliding to the back corner of the base.
Zobrist 3 for 3 in stolen bases. Not going, and got him to chase a pitch away. No chance to hit that one, and 2 strikeouts.
Boy, another good fastball here. Working away. Take a look at the pitch track and look at the movement he gets. The late life on a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Beautiful pitch right there from Bud Norris.
So Norris gets 2 Ks after a leadoff walk, and here's Longoria. He hit the long ball in the first inning last night, 2-run homer. 4th of the year, now 19 RBIs. He's 1 for 6 lifetime off Norris. The infield plays him to pull. He will take the pitch away for a ball. 2 down with a runner on at first base. I always like to give him credit. Last night they had a child here who was part of a program like Make-A-Wish program, and child was down on the field near the stands before the game, and Evan Longoria went over and got him, brought him out to the batting cage during batting practice. Think what that kid felt like. And Longoria did it on his own. Play made, perfectly positioned was Jonathan Schoop. No runs, no hits, no errors. 1 left on base after 1 no score. 32 Clarksville facility all month. We'll beat any competing offer on your trade-in. Hurry in today. Some of the lights went out here last night in the 8th inning of the ball game. Afterwards, what could be said? Buck Showalter, I was just hoping it wouldn't mess up the air conditioners. It was 80 degrees outside. Joe Madden said, I think there was a grand opening somewhere, and it knocked the lights out. The lights are still out, that bank of lights. But the other lights can be turned up and down, actually. They're not used at 100%. You were right.
Wow.
Mike Bordick said last night they were on a dimmer switch. Well, in effect, they are. The reason they're not at 100% is because when they put them up at 100%, there's a glare. And it's a different kind of light that comes out and not as good to play under, but very bright. In fact, I think it's brighter with that bank of lights out and these turned up than it was before.
Seems like it.
But anyway, that bank of lights is still out, and we're still playing. And here's Adam Jones.
Well, you know, it's nice. It's good that both managers had a sense of humor about that because it was a crucial time in the ball game.
That ball hit the center field, and I mean hit. 404 looking, and goodbye, home run. Off the back wall, Adam Jones delivers the dinger to the deepest part of this ballpark. Second home run this season, and the Orioles take a 1-0 lead.
Well, great news for Adam Jones. He has been scuffling a little bit as of late, picking up his second home run there, and that's a bomb to straightaway center field. Great numbers against lefties this season.
Boy, did he crank that one. So Adam Jones gives the Orioles the early lead off Ramos, the left-hander, and the pitch taken away by Hardy.
Now Ramos just trying to get ahead here to start this inning. Center cut fastball, and Adams Jones does not miss it. Great trajectory there. Good view of that swing. Stayed through it.
Now he's got one homer off a righty, one off a lefty. Shattered bat goes to second base and bobbled by Zobrist, and he can't get the out. Zobrist with an error on a ball not hit very hard, and he just muffed it.
Yeah, just clanked it. Right there off the end of the bat here. Shattered bat. Bat head goes flying. I don't think it would have been a distraction, but J.J. Hardy sees the bobble. Off he goes to beat it out.
So Hardy is on. So grateful that he's eating his wrist protector. Boy, that's when you really want to get on base. So there's an error committed. These two teams came into the ball game both having committed 15 errors, tied for second with the second fewest errors behind Toronto in the American League. And there's one, 16 now, committed by Tampa Bay. And the pitch is a strike. Delmon Young getting the DH role in this game. One reason, left-hander. He's hitting .313 off lefties with a home run, but he's also hitting .324 off right-handers. When he's played, he's hit.
Yeah, he is a professional hitter. Dan Duquette brought him over here because of his success off left-handed pitchers. You know, they were looking for a full-time DH. Nelson Cruz joined Delmon Young, but career 300 hitter off lefties. So great success there, and he has had some monster years in his big league time offensively. 1
ball, 1 strike count. Not a big lead for Hardy at first base. Shift on in the infield. Pitched away, tailing down and away. And it'll be a 1 ball, 2 strike count on Young. Ramos coming into the game, some really good numbers with the 4 starts, 9 appearances. Left-handers hitting only .200. Right-handers 192. That home run by Jones is only the second home run he has surrendered this season. And both of those, well, one by a lefty, one by a righty. Young 1 and 2. Delmon Young will take the pitch on the inside corner. He didn't think so, but he is gone. 1 down.
A couple weapons when he gets ahead. He can throw that hard slider down in the zone, back foot to righties. He's been working Delmon Young away on the pitch track and just paints a fastball down and in at 89 miles an hour. That's another weapon of his. Loves to pitch inside, feels comfortable there, that side of the plate.
Ramos gets the out. Infield will stay shifted. And here is Pierce. Homer last night, his first of the year, 1 for 3. He's faced Ramos before a couple of times and has gone 0 for 2. Hardy on at first base, reaching on the air, and the pitch will be taken up high for a ball. For the Orioles on the season now, they've hit 24 home runs, surrendering 32. And Adam Jones, the latest to put one out of the ballpark. 1-0 count. Outfield shaded to left as well. Pierce rocketed one into the seats in left field that he got a hold of in the ball game last night. There was no doubt about the long ball. It was just a question of how far it was going to go.
Yeah, last night's ball game, some of the guys that were heroes in the game, Pierce, Flaherty, and Clevenger came up with a big hit late in the game. All three of those guys out early, working with Jim Presley early batting practice on their swings, and it came through. It worked in last night's game.
He is 1 for 6 off left-handers, limited at bats, of course, as he moves in for Chris Davis at first base, as the Orioles went through a lot of machinations in order to get him, letting him become a free agent after he'd been sent down, keeping a spot open on the roster so they could move him in immediately and not have to wait 30 days and all that. Chris still working out with the team every day. There's been no problem. The oblique feeling much better. He's raring to go. That pitch is in there for a strike. Pierce leaning out for something away, and instead it was in a little closer than he thought it would come. 3-1.
Yeah, you saw Chris Davis over there, and the Orioles have been tested with some injuries here in the early going with primarily their infield. There's a look at Chris Davis, still recovering from that oblique, but J.J. Hardy had back spasms and a tight hamstring. Manny Machado, good to finally get him back, and now Matt Wieters.
And just foul. Take a look at the long ball put out last night here.
Oh, it was a nice one. 3-2 count, slider in the middle of the plate, and he destroyed it, and he knew it. Nice little bat toss up about 20 rows deep.
Steve Pierce, when he times it, when he gets what he's looking for, he can hit the ball as hard as anybody on this Orioles team. Stands back in with a 3-ball 2-strike count and 1 down. Hardy at first base being held by Loney. 3-2, runner not going, and Pierce will take it inside. So the walk, and the Orioles have 2 on and only 1 away. Our Maryland Lottery contestant of the game, John Ahern of Potomac. $500 for being selected, $500 for every home run hit tonight, and there has been 1 hit already. So, John, you've already got $1,000 in the bank. Play the Orioles scratch-off from the Maryland Lottery for your chance to be the contestant of the game. Win a trip to see the O's at Wrigley or the MLB World Series. Learn more, mdlottery.com/Orioles. There's Adam, who helped contribute to your bank account. Runners on at first and second. And here's Jonathan Schoop. Did not play in the ball game last night. Schoop goes after the first pitch and will foul it off the other way. Jonathan has had a couple of hits in 17 at bats against left-handers, 79 or 74 at bats against righties, hitting .257.
I think you're going to start to see a possible platoon situation here with matchups with Flaherty and Schoop at second base, now that the left side of the infield is solidified with Machado coming back.
0-1 count on him. Infield double play depth, and a swing and a miss and a high heater. Almost coming in and way up, and the count goes to 0-2.
You see Jonathan Schoop with runners on base, very productive, .343 batting average, that 1 home run and 9 RBI. Bases empty, he gets the free swing and .161 batting average. Does have 1 home run, a solo shot. But just 2 walks on the season for Jonathan Schoop, so he has been overly aggressive, to say the least, at times.
And 28 strikeouts. So that will send Hannigan out to the mound to talk with Ramos on what they want to throw here, and also the cadence of the calls with a runner on at second base and a veteran runner, Hardy, looking in. Schoop will wait with an 0-2 count and 1 down. Jonathan has picked up 9 runs scored for the ball club, and he has 7 doubles, along with a couple of home runs, 10 RBIs. Pretty good numbers for the average that he's put up. Here's the 0-2 delivery to him, and that'll be inside. Ramos just all over the place. 1 ball 2 strike count, and that's upping the pitch count for him to 32 so far. Joe Madden is not going to like to see that. He talking with him before the game today, he said My bullpen's okay, and I can use the guys I used last night again, but I really don't want to. I really think we were overused already in that bullpen. 1 ball, 2 strike delivery. And Schoop off the fist. There's a bloop. It's going to take a hop to first base, and everybody is not safe. The tag put on at second for the out. How about that? That bloop with all kinds of spin, and Loney had all kinds of trouble with it. He was not going to get Schoop, so he went to second and gets Pierce trying to avoid the tag.
Yeah, jam shot. Look at the spin on this ball. Gets away from Loney, but what a heads-up play, recognizing that Pierce was headed back to first, kind of getting back on that pop fly, and Escobar the wherewithal to put the tag on. Here it is, the jam shot. Pierce going back. Great English on that ball. Almost kicks away from Loney. Pretty good barehanded play to get an out at second.
And here is Caleb Joseph, who's going to get his first major league at bat. Doing the catching after being called up today. Jamal Weeks was sent out to AAA to make room on the roster for Joseph, and he's going to be here a while. Nobody knows how long Matt Wieters will be out as far as the catching part of it's concerned. Matt does expect a DH tomorrow. And the pitch to him outside. Take a look at the numbers from Norfolk this season. A couple of home runs, 11 RBIs, big numbers against the left-hander. One of the reasons he's starting this game. Last year at Bowie, an outstanding year. 22 homers, 97 RBIs, 7th round pick in 08. He was the AA player of the year, and deservedly so. 1-0 delivery and a shattered back ground ball to third. Longoria's got it. He'll go over to first base and record the out. So that will do it in the inning. The Orioles will pick up a run at the start of the inning. Jones leading it off, and the first pitch he saw over 4:04 to center. O's up. Orioles moment brought to you by Volkswagen. May 6, 1984. The cycle for Cal. Solo home run at top of the 9th inning at Texas. Second Oriole to hit for the cycle in franchise history. The first to do it was Brooksy in 1960. He went 4 for 5. Cal did. 2 runs driven in, pair of runs scored. Orioles came away with a 6-1 win and a cycle day for Cal.
Pretty impressive stuff right there. What a great offensive shortstop. Really changed the game around. His size at short and his offensive abilities. Unbelievable stuff. Nowadays, you see the production of shortstops. It was all kind of built around Cal Ripken.
Orioles have the 1-0 lead, but Norris will work to Loney, Myers, and DeJesus here in the second inning. Trying to hold down a ball club that has scored here at home. The Rays averaging almost 5.5 runs a game here at the Trop, which is the 3rd highest home mark in the majors. On the road, 3.28, which is the 2nd lowest in the majors. So a divergent offensive difference for this team home and road. James Loney up there, bulging .322 average. He is 6th in average starting the day in the American League. And he will take the pitch from Norris for a strike.
Nice job receiving that ball from Caleb Joseph. Quiet, easy hands down at the bottom of the zone to get the call.
1 ball, 1 strike count on Loney. And that's there at the knees as well. For Norris, this is his 4th career start against the Rays, 5th appearance, once in relief, September of 13. Suffered a loss, the only game he's ever pitched here at the Trop. It was a game-ending run in the 18th inning. That one is just going to miss down low. Norris with that 1-2 lifetime mark. See Loney, like so many of his teammates, the big home numbers. That .354 average, the 7th highest average at home in the league. And Caleb Joseph, welcome to the majors. Foul balls feel the same way here as they did at AAA when they come off your head.
Now you see Bud Norris, so a little upset at himself right there with the slider. Really some quality pitches down and away to Loney. Wanted to bury that slider down and in, left it in the heart of the plate.
2-2 delivery on the way and close, but not quite. Norris has won his last 2 ball games, meeting Pittsburgh and Toronto. The team has gone 3 wins, 2 losses in the 5 starts that he's made this year. Loney 9 for 17, lifetime off Bud Norris. 3-2 will be foul back.
Well, Bud's actually done a pretty nice job. Really one of the most consistent starters. Hasn't had one of those real low outings. See James Loney last 7 games just raking, but you know, averaging 6 innings per start. And he has the ability, obviously, like all the Orioles starters, to get deeper into the ball games. But you know, a great competitor. You know, he'll give you 6 strong innings. That's about every outing.
And he surrenders the walk. So same thing he did in the first inning. He gave up a leadoff walk. We'll take a look at our Jeep inside the numbers.
Yeah, this season the Orioles got the Rays number 3-0 this year. Offensively beating them 294 to 194, 15 runs to 4 runs. Each team has 1 home run, but the story has been the pitching. 1.33 earned run average for the Rays, 5.40, and there have been some nice starts. Gonzalez 5 shutout innings, and the bullpen put up zeros in one of the wins there. Chen 6 1/3. He gave up 1 earned run, and the bullpen came and slammed the door again. And then Tillman in last night's ball game, just the 3 earned runs, and once again the bullpen stepped up to slam the door on the Rays.
Here is Will Myers. Myers, their right fielder's got a 4-game hit streak. He had a 1 for 4 in the ball game last night, putting up some good numbers with the 7 hits in his last 19 at bats during the streak. Leadoff man on each of the first 2 innings against Norris. That's on the inside corner for a strike to Myers.
Buckled him a little bit on that slider there. Well, Myers, another hot hitter, last 4 games, hitting .350, a couple home runs. One of those, and inside the Parker, 7 RBI. Their offense really came to life last 5 games of that 10-day road trip.
Broken back ground ball to short. Hardy, they'll try for 2. Jonathan Scope gets it over and gets it there in time. It's a major problem for Tampa Bay that opponents love. They hit a lot of ground ball double plays. That one, Hardy to Scope, over to Pierce, 2 down.
Oh, nice turn here. J.J. Hardy recognizing the pace of the ball. He takes 4 steps in, and Jonathan Scope, what a strong, accurate arm turning the double play. That's what Buck Showalter loves about him. Such a big kid, but a strong arm on that quick turn.
That is the 34th ground ball double play that Tampa Bay has hit into. And you compare that to the Orioles at 23. Tampa Bay has had a lot of rallies shut down with those kind of ground balls. David DeJesus takes up the DH role in this ball game. He has had 2 home runs off Norris, 7 for 13 with 2 homers lifetime off the Orioles starter. DeJesus will get Scope back at second. Machado a couple of steps off the grass at third. 0-1 delivery to him, and that one will be fouled off at the plate. Norris gets ahead of him, 0-2.
That's a Bud Norris changeup right there, really working hard on that pitch, and he is so good when he keeps it down in the zone. I mean, good arm speed, sells it well, and that ball just dropped off the table under DeJesus's bat.
Talking to Bobby Dickerson, the skipper. 0-2 count. Norris with 2 down and nobody on, comes inside to him. And a ball and 2 strikes from Bud Norris. Bud has got 40 wins and 51 losses now for his career numbers. 29 years old.
And one time ace for the Houston Astros. Orioles pretty lucky to get him in a trade last season. Dave Wallace trying to maximize his skills for the Orioles. He really loves it. I mean, he loves his power arm, his aggressive attitude.
He'll miss outside with that. And a 2-ball, 2-strike count. 2 down, nobody on. DeJesus with Escobar hoping for an at-bat here in the 2nd inning. Orioles continuing this road trip, wrapping it up tomorrow. They have won 2 and lost 2 so far in the trip. And that one will be slashed the other way foul. We get the Orioles going to be coming home for a 6-game homestand. It will be started against Houston. The Friday game, 7 o'clock. Wei and Chen, Scott Feldman, the former Oriole, are scheduled to go against one another. Miguel Gonzalez and Chris Tillman to go for the Orioles. Houston's not named starters for game 2 and 3 yet. Foul back again. Feldman has had bicep tendonitis problems. He hasn't pitched since April 17, but is scheduled to start the first game of that set against the Orioles. Houston, of course, a struggling team. One of those clubs when you play them, you just feel like you got to win. You just got to win against a team that's gone 10 and 23 so far this year. 2-2 delivery, and that'll go down to first base. Pierce with the backhand over to cover Norris, and they got it. Only 3 batters faced. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left on. 2 complete at the Trop, with the Orioles up 1-0. Baseball on Masson is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com. And by Chapin Davis. Chapin Davis providing investments that can produce income from your retirement plan. Call to learn more, 800-222-3246 or at chapindavis.com. Glorious early summer day here in the Tampa Bay area today. Our Major League Notebook, we open it to the page, the streaks. Nolan Arenado, remember that name in Colorado, 26-game hit streak going, the longest in the majors right now. Nick Markakis, a base hit in this game, 14-game hit streak, the longest in the American League. And the Detroit Tigers, 7 straight wins now. That is the longest streak in the American League, and they now are #1 in wins in the AL.
Yeah, Arenado, a great young third baseman. I know him and Manny Machado. There have been some comparisons in that regard because he can play defense as well. And Nick Markakis, he has been red hot. Now 17 of 18 games he's gotten hits in, and he has produced as well. 11 walks, 4 doubles, couple home runs, 11 runs scored. So really the total package here from Nick Markakis recently.
Nick came into the day tied with a 13-game hit streak with Torrey Hunter. Nick extending it, though, in the first inning. Jim Presley mighty happy with what he's seen out of Nick Markakis so far. And the pitch taken down low off the plate. Nick now has had 4 hits and 9 at-bats off the left-hander for Tampa Bay. Ramos careful with him, and the count goes to 2-0. Machado and then CRUZ due up for the Orioles here in the top of the third inning. Orioles on the Jones home run with a 1-0 lead. Left-hander's pitch showed bunt, and we'll take it down low. Gets Longoria running in from third base. Looked more like a take though, and it goes to 3-0.
Yeah, just trying to show it. You know, Nick has that great ability to use the whole field, and he keeps that front shoulder in so well against left-handed pitching. If he can suck that left side in a little bit, just gives him more room to sneak it by.
And Ramos still all over the place and not settling down. There's a leadoff walk for the Orioles. The Birds are going to return on Friday with that 6-game homestand. Astros Tigers in town, and Mother's Day Sunday. The first 20,000 women 18 and over at that game against the Astros are going to get the Mother's Day cap. For tickets, visit Orioles.com or call 888-848-BIRD. Just a gentle reminder that Mother's Day is Sunday. Manny Machado flying out to center field his first time up. Ramos now with 2 walks in the game. The Orioles have had the leadoff man on all 3 innings against him. And he had retired 70% of leadoff batters coming into the ball game. So that's a little exhibit as to his wildness. And here's another exhibit. Jim Hickey's on his way to the mound.
Yeah, command has been off recently. I mentioned 95 pitches in his last start. You know, he only gave up 1 hit in the 4 2/3 innings of work, but the 6 walks. So just all over the place in the zone. And really jacked his pitch count up. Now they would love to get him extended and get beyond the 5th inning. He has never thrown over the 5th inning, even in his career. 7 career starts, never gone past the 5th. So the ability to extend his pitch count is one thing, but you know, have the command in the zone so that you can be a little bit more efficient and maybe get into the 5th and 6th inning.
Joe Maddon's really had to juggle. His 3 big starters are still out, so he's had to move people out of the bullpen. That's affected obviously both ends, both the starters and relievers. Hellickson, Moore, Cobb, all on the disabled list for Tampa Bay. Manny Machado, and Machado will take the pitch on the outside corner for a strike. I thought Joe Maddon had an interesting comment today. We were talking about starting pitching, who isn't, and I said, well, tell me, Joe, what is a quality start anymore? What does it mean? It mean anything? And he kind of hesitated, and he said, you know something? I think it's dependent on what other teams are doing in your division. And what he was saying was quality starts are measured by what your opponents are doing and whether you can match them with innings pitched by your starters, inning pitched by your bullpen, ERA starter, ERA bullpen.
Yeah, well, you'd certainly like to pull away from the pack in that regard and have guys. But actually, that's exactly what the American League East is doing right now. Everybody is kind of struggling in that category, and really pitching is going to be the key to each team's success and how they can overcome, you know, some injuries. The Rays, we've talked about, they lost 3 of their frontline starters in their rotation.
I mean, he's only 2.5 games out, and Joe said I'm already worried. He said, you can't get behind in the American League East and expect to make up games. You've got to stay in the mix. And I'm judging my pitching staff by whether or not we're getting those wins that we need to get to stay close to everybody else. If we don't, if our pitching's not doing that, then it's not quality, and we're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, and this is a different kind of time for Joe Maddon and the Rays because their pitching has been pretty consistent. I mean, they've used, you know, not many starters. They've been real fortunate with lack of injuries to their starting rotation. Take a look right here. Most different starters used since 2009. Well, the Rays, just 18 starters used. That's the fewest in all the major leagues. So their starters have been healthy and consistent. Blue Jays have used 37. Devastated injuries here the last couple years. Diamondbacks 37. They're trying to find their way. And the Orioles right there at 35. So, you know, it's been a kind of lack of effectiveness for Orioles and some injuries that have led to so much turnover. 35 pitchers used. But, you know, to their credit, this season, all 5 starters have made all their starts.
Yep. Ground ball to the hole where they weren't playing in great play. Zobrist, oh, mercy. Oh, yeah. I don't care who you cheer for. That's a great double play. Zobrist to Escobar to Loney on a tough major league turn.
Yeah, Manny doing a good job trying to shoot that hole. Zobrist showing his versatility, ranging to his glove side. But look at the athleticism from Escobar. Catching the ball, 1 foot on the bag, knowing that MARKAKIS is going to be on him. Real good turn, and Ramos appreciates that one.
So double play returned by the Orioles after Tampa hit into one. And now bases are empty, and here's CRUZ. He hit into a double play in the first inning, eliminating a leadoff single by MARKAKIS. Now Machado the double play in the third, eliminating that leadoff walk to Nick. And the pitch will be taken for a strike. Nelson Cruz, very solid 296 average that he's got going. Outfield deep on him, infield back, and he'll go after one and foul it into the screen.
Well, Nelson's shown great plate coverage this season here in the early part of the year, and he's also shown the ability to use right field when he falls behind. And he has such a quiet approach. That front side opened up just so we can get a good look. And you see this defense, not the typical defense with a power hitter, pretty much straight up, maybe slight pull in the middle, but he has the ability to use the whole field.
0-2 delivery to him. Cruz will take it, and it is inside. Last season against left-handers, Cruz hit .279. Only 5 of his home runs, 27 of them, came against left-handers. About the same average, .262 off righties, .279 off lefties. That's just a matter of a handful of hits. 1 ball, 2 strike delivery on the way. Ramos, the off-speed pitch. That was an eephus pitch. 68 miles an hour.
Yeah, he has a slow curveball that usually commands very well, but so slow that hitters typically don't swing at it. He tries to get it for a strike. He's working in the danger zone here to Cruz. Look at the pitch track. Everything up in the zone. A couple pitches way off the plate, but Nelson Cruz can get there.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down. Bases are empty. Ramos delivers a fastball, framed by Hannigan for a long time.
Yeah, it was a double frame. He held it there. Some old school stuff by Hannigan back there. Take a look at the pitch track, working up and away, and he tries to bring it back over. Pitch track shows it catches the corner. It just didn't look good for the home plate umpire, Clint Fagan.
Hannigan took an unusual angle in receiving that. He was kind of facing second base. There's the off-speed pitch, and he got that one in. So he used it a couple of times. That one's a strikeout. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left on base. Orioles 1, Rays nothing. Here against the Rays, Norris getting some strikeouts, reminding people he can come inside. First pitch Adam Jones saw, left the yard at the 4:04 mark at center field. That's the run. And the Orioles 1-2-0. The Rays 0-0-1 as Adam heads out on the tattered grass. Multicolored. Now Norris, a couple of walks and 2 strikeouts. He has walked the leadoff batter in each of the first 2 innings and gotten away with it. Escobar, Hannigan, and Zobrist will be coming up. But tends to pitch a little bit backwards from what we generally talk about. Leadoff men getting on. He's actually better when there are runners on base. He gets a first strike, they hit 314. If it goes 1-0 after that, they hit 206. Everything about what he does is backwards to what we call the book on how to get it done. With runners on base, the average is 196. If the bases are empty, the average is 351 against Bud Norris. And the pitch is taken for a strike. Well, I guess in that case, you might as well just walk the first guy instead of giving up a double or a triple. Well, get the guy on and then go to work.
Bud likes to stay aggressive, and nobody on. He takes his chances. He loves to challenge with his fastball, and I think that's the story there. With runners on base, he does have the ability to really execute quality pitches down in the zone, and you know, we've seen the power slider, we've seen the velocity on his fastball, and he bears down instead of, you know, just trying to overpower guys up in the zone.
And he goes to a 3-ball 1-strike count on Escobar. Hannigan waiting on deck, then Zobrist at the top of the order. An unfamiliar face to Oriole fans, Caleb Joseph, his major league debut. And he walked him. Son of a gun. 3 walks. They all have been leadoff walks in the first 3 innings. And that'll bring Hannigan up. We'll check our Jeep inside the numbers.
Yeah, Bud Norris is great under the lights. Night games, 3 starts this season. 2-0 record with a 196 earned run average. 254 opponent batting average. But day games, 2 starts this year, 0-2 with a 715 earned run average and a 304 opponent batting average. Pretty crazy numbers right there. But I'll tell you what, they hold true in his career as well. Day games, 1-12 in his career. And day games and night games 18-15. So
do we have to add a new category to partially lighted games?
We need to keep Bud under the lights.
Need to keep the lights on.
Yeah.
Here is Ryan Hannigan. Hannigan had a 1 for 2 in the ball game last night. 3 for 11. Lifetime off Norris. Chopper. It'll go to third. Got to be short hop. Man, he goes to second. Gets the out. They almost turned a double play. How about that? That is instinct. I don't know if any other third baseman would have tried to go to second on that.
No, they sure wouldn't have. I mean, what a brilliant play here by Manny Machado. First of all, the great read to come get it on the short hop. And then look at that crossbody throw. Perfect accuracy to Schoop. And Schoop lets it fly at second base. Here, the chopper off the mound. He reads it above his head. Great short hop pick. Quick release. Power turn there. But Hannigan knew he could sense it. He was hustling down the line. Great athletic play by Manny Machado. Man, he was the Platinum Glove winner. We saw it multiple times last season. Plays that you just couldn't even believe a player could make.
I don't believe he made that one. Couldn't believe he was going to second base. Runner at first, top of the order. Zobrist with 1 down. Zobrist threw that leadoff walk and was left stranded. The only runner left on in the ball game so far by the Rays. Manny Machado, those are the kind of difference-making plays in a game that you get.
Well, I'll tell you something. That play Manny just made, there was a play in last night's ball game where he thought about coming and getting it and possibly getting the short hop and ended up retreating on the ball, and it ate him up. It took a bad hop on the dirt, and I guarantee you, infield coach Bobby Dickerson said, if that ball bounces up and it's above your head, you have got to come get it. Well, great instinctive play right there, and he made the adjustment.
And Norris will miss away, maybe a little bit low with it. For Zobrist on the year, and this is the 4th game these teams have played. He's had 3 hits, 9 at-bats, and 1 RBI against the Orioles. He keeps checking down at third with Tom Foley, third base coach, with Hannigan over there at first. The infield double play set. And the pitch, and that's there for a strike.
Boy, he is hitting that spot in this ball game, down and away to the lefties. He was really working it well on Loney. Now here the Zobrist.
Left-handers, and again reverse numbers, are hitting 233 off Norris. Right-handers 321. Lefties do have 3 of the 4 home runs he surrendered this year. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Runner not going, and the pitch will be away. And the count goes to 2-2. Pitch count up to 45 for him. Here in the 3rd inning with 1 down.
Well, it's a nice job. I mean, that changeup right there from Bud Norris got away from him. Really tried to overthrow it, but he's using it. You know, he's letting hitters know that he has that other weapon.
Foul back into the screen, came down and into him that time. That's the pitch they're trying to get him to throw. He's been a little reluctant. about using the changeup. When Matt Wieters is catching, he's kind of forced the issue.
Yeah.
And Buck Showalter really wants to see him use that more often, as does Dave Wallace. But you got to get confidence in it yourself before it's effective.
Yeah, you do. And that was something that they worked on at the end of last season. They said, hey, if you're going to pitch in the American League East, you need to change up off your fastball. You just cannot power guys. Too many big boppers. And he is working hard to develop it.
Ooh, got him to go after one upstairs. And he gives a little point into Joseph on that, as Joseph apparently decided where he wanted it.
Yeah, like the call, Joseph setting up in. Pitch track says he was working consistently away. Zobrist finally sees the ball in the inner third, but it takes off. A little cut fastball at top of the zone, and he can't catch it.
So 3 strikeouts recorded. Runner remains at first base. Now there were 2 down. Desmond Jennings, one of the strikeout victims. He's taken an 0 for 6 in these 2 games. And takes the pitch, and it is there for a strike. The Orioles trying to get guarantee themselves a series win. They can pick up the victory here tonight. Concluding game of the series will be coming up tomorrow. We'll have it for you 6:30 O's Extra, 7 o'clock the game. Ubaldo Jimenez against David Price of Tampa Bay. 0-1 delivery, and that will miss up high. Jennings, dangerous bat, 273 hitter against the Orioles on the season so far. They move the infield around. Schoop almost behind second base. And fouled back. What Bud Norris has been able to do here in 3 innings is match the walks with strikeouts. Walked Zobrist in the first, struck out Jennings, walked Loney in the second, got the double play off Myers. Walked Escobar here, got a force play and a strikeout on Zobrist. And ahead on the count here. 1-2 delivery. Taken outside. 2 ball, 2 strike count.
Caleb Joseph giving nice low targets. Like that pitch right there. Good slider down and away. Giving Bud Norris some reinforcement. At a go with his glove pointing at him. Jennings a very dangerous hitter. I mean, you talk about his success against the Orioles, but combination of speed and power.
Came right into the glove, which was set on that inside corner and low. Signals that he wants to talk to his battery mate. Joseph will head on out. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Now let's have a little talk here. Ain't sure about it. It's a good fastball running in, 94 miles an hour. Two ball, 2 strike count. Runner at first base, Hannigan, the catcher, held by Pierce. And the ball will be fouled away. No play into the seats. And it will stay at 2-2. Yeah, danger zone again right there. Wanted that slider down and away, but it backed up on him in the middle of the plate. Times when Bud tries to overthrow some pitches, they back up on him. You see that 6th pitch right in the center of the plate. It's the hanging slider. There's some pitches in the zone. Pitch track says better move it off the edges. 2 ball, 2 strike delivery on the way, and a chopper. It'll go to short. Hardy will make the flip, force out at second base, and that will do it. So the Orioles protect the 1-0 lead. Take a look at our Honda do-ups. Adam Jones with a home run. J.J. Hardy, he'd like to get one, and Delmon Young a strikeout victim.
And time for all fans to tweet the photo using hashtag #MASSonFanPhotos for a chance to have it shown in a future broadcast. Brought to you by AT&T. Some of the Oriole fans on hand here at the Trop celebrated last night, hoping to do so again tonight. Adam Jones has given him a reason to cheer. First pitch he saw in the ball game, leading off the second.
Yeah, center cut fastball, and he hammered it, hips and hands coming through, perfect timing off the facing of the center field wall. Unbelievable blast by Adam Jones, his second home run of the year. Hopefully that one catches him on fire.
So Adam will stand in here against the left-hander. The Orioles 1-2-0. They've left 2. The Rays 0-0-1. They have left 2. And Adam Jones will be followed by Hardy and Young as we go to the 4th inning. 29-year-old left-hander. Ramos delivers. Jones goes after it again. Center field again. Jennings again. Looking and again. Goodbye. Home run. 2 pitches. 2 home runs for Adam Jones. And the Orioles have a 2-0 lead. Almost the exact same spot he hit the first one.
You got to love that. Now a hitter goes up there and the tendency is think no way he's going to throw the same pitch. Adam Jones stuck with his plan. Ramos tried to get that first pitch strike on a fastball. Again, almost an identical swing and identical results from Adam Jones. And just like that, he's got 3.
Wow. Here is Hardy, 2-0 Orioles, and Hardy lines it. That'll go right to Zobrist for the out.
Let's take a look at Adam Jones' swing here. First pitch in his second at bat. Identical location, center cut, and almost an identical swing. Look at the hips and hands. Great explosion there, great extension. And that is a bomb to straightaway center field. His 4th career 2 home run game.
So Adam Jones getting it done here with a show of power. Had one last July in a double homer ball game. And we'll see whether or not he's going to have a career high in this game when it comes to home runs. 2 is the most he's had in a ball game. And Delmon Young, strikeout victim his first time up. 2 runs, 3 hits for the Orioles. And Young will foul that one away. And Adam Jones really liking what he's seeing here in this ball. 15 home runs now against Tampa Bay for Jones.
Yeah, take a look at Adam Jones this season versus left-handed pitching. 26 plate appearances, .391 batting average with 5 extra base hits, 2 home runs today. Versus righties, just a .220 batting average with 3 extra base hits. Now, last season, Adam Jones, one of his best seasons by far offensively. Great production all the way around. He had .251 against lefties and .300 against righties. Seeing lefties much better right now.
And the Orioles, the recipient of the runs because of that. And Young will lash that one to short, and a nice catch made. Escobar is having a career night. Is he playing some shortstop in this game? And there are 2 down.
He sure is. Nice piece of hitting by Delmon Young. Tough pitch down and in. He just drops the head on it, but Escobar all over the field today. Nice running catch. And take a look at the backhand feed on the end. A little flip. Good extension. Nice timing. You cannot get jumps on baseballs like that without your feet being active. He was prepared and anticipated that ball to his right. Nice play by Escobar.
So there are 2 away, and that will bring up Pierce. He drew a walk his first time up. As we said, Ramos had given up only 1 home run coming into the ball game, and Jones has plucked 2 against him in this one, and up to 58 thrown. Infield shift on, and it'll be popped up the other way. Loney going back, and he's got room and will put it away. So the Orioles again get a run on a hit, and again it's the same bat. Adam Jones getting home runs number 5 and 6 in this ballpark. 2-0 O's. bank for the achiever in you.
Yeah, it's Hunter Harvey again. Last year's #1 pick for the Orioles, and he had another solid game. 6 strong innings pitched, 4 hits, 4 runs, but none of them were earned. 1 base on ball, 6 strikeouts. The 85 pitches, 57 of them strikes. This season, 1-2 record, but a 1.69 earned run average. 35 strikeouts in 32 innings of work this season. I had a chance to speak with Alan Mills, the Delmarva pitching coach, and he said this guy is unbelievable. Just 19 years old. He's aggressive in the zone. He's a great competitor. He really loves his makeup. He's down there working on a changeup. If he masters that, he will fly through the system.
Bud Norris hoping to fly through this lineup as he goes to the 4th inning. Joyce, Longoria, and Loney. And the pitch taken down low for a ball. Joyce, a strikeout victim, his first time up. 3 walks, 3 strikeouts for the Orioles starter. Joyce now 2 for 5, lifetime off Norris. Infield played him to pull, and the pitch will be on the inside corner for a strike. There's the setup defensively. Outfield pretty much straight away. Norris doing a great job holding down this team that's hit so well here at home.
Well, he's having some success. I wonder if he wants to break the pattern, though, with the leadoff walks. Each inning, a base on ball. I think to keep his pitch count manageable, he'd love to get a couple quick outs to lead an inning off.
60 pitches coming here. And a check swing. They want to look at third. Did he go? No. Joe West.
Take a look at a good hitter's count. It's a little aggressive, and yeah, he did. He held it up. It was close, though. Caleb Joseph trying to sell it.
3 ball, 1 strike count. That ball is going to be a base hit. No, the leadoff man on again. Joyce gets the single to lead off the 4th. Leadoff man on in all 4 innings. On Tuesday, celebrate Birdland's newest slugger. All fans at the O's versus Tigers game get the Nelson Cruz Orioles CRUZ t-shirt. It'll be a great popular item. Your chance to get it. And every Tuesday is Ollie's Bargain Night. Presented by Ollie's Bargain Outlet. All upper reserves, just $9. Get yours. Go to Orioles.com, 888-848-BIRD. That's going to be Tuesday at the ballpark for Nelson Cruz. So the leadoff man on again. For Bud Norris, that means nothing. Here is Longoria, who grounded out his first time up. Longoria now the Rays all-time home run leader. 166. Runner goes. Ground ball to short. Only plays at first. Hardy will get it over there and record the out as Joyce goes down to second base.
Trying to put some pressure on the defense there. Longoria, hit and run action. Or maybe it was a run and hit.
Offense just stagnant here last night and again tonight for the Rays. Credit Oriole pitching. So they really are just trying to make something happen here by putting people in motion. Here is Loney. Loney drew a walk his first time up. Last night, runners in scoring position. Tampa Bay had an 0 for 5. This is the first chance they've had with a runner in scoring position. That hit, of course, by Joyce, the first hit Tampa Bay's had in the ball game. Loney, 6th in average in the league, will take the pitch up high for a ball. All the Oriole pitchers talk about this mound, and most of them say this is the best pitching mound in the American League. They love this mound to work off. And its dimensions are perfect. It's got great landing spots. It holds together. You don't get big holes dug up in it.
I think that would be the key, just the holes. Because you've heard, Buck Showalter's talked about that this season. You go through the course of a ball game, and a number of pitchers get out there, and everybody's got a different landing spot. They dig a different spot off the rubber, and this one, appears to stay intact pretty well.
Next to the home mound. Oriole pitchers like working here. 1 ball, 1 strike count, 1 down. Runner at second base, Joyce. And a swing and a miss. Just a challenge pitch right there, but perfectly located, and he couldn't catch up to a 1-2.
Yeah, on that outer third, a little backdoor slider. Throws it so hard. velocity 87 miles an hour.
Loney hitting .371 with runners in scoring position, one of the leaders in the American League in that department. He's got a runner at second base. 1-2 delivery time, and he chased that one, and it went into the mid on the tip. So it gets him for his 4th strikeout.
A nice sequence of pitches here. Take a look at the pitch track. It was a slider on the outer third, then a fastball, 2-seamer. It starts off on that outside corner, just takes off up in the zone. Loney can't catch it.
So the runner remains at second. Now there are 2 down. Here's Myers. He hit into a double play his first time up. He's another Ray. Has got good numbers. Runners in scoring position, 297 for him. The Rays overall rank 8th in the American League as a team, hitting .253. Trying to get their first run in, looking for the base hit here. 1-0 count, 2 away. Nobody holding the runner, Joyce. He gets a good lead at second. And that pitch is going to be a called strike. Really no book on Clint Fagan as far as umpiring is concerned, but you get the feeling he might favor pitchers a little bit in the games with the strike zone that looks like it's got some width and height.
Sure does. Yeah, it seems to be the top and bottom of the zone and all 4 corners. So Bud Norris doing a good job of working it.
And Myers will ask for the timeout. As Doug Harvey, the great Hall of Fame umpire, used to say to hitters when he umpired home plate, "Gentlemen, if it's close, it's going to be a strike." He'd tell them that. 1-1 delivery on the way, and the pitch will be taken down low. Doug, of course, had the nickname God given affectionately to him for the way he controlled ball games. He had the infamous thing of a coach who came firing out at him when he was at third base once. Doug stood about 6'4", 6'5", and in order to quiet the manager, he got down on one knee. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? The guy's screaming at you, and he goes down on one knee. I mean, it's kind of like he just turned around and went back to the dugout. Hit high in the air to right field. Dick Markakis watching it, and he will put it away. So no runs on 1 hit, no errors. Base runner left in scoring position. The Orioles lead it 2-0. Part of that when they're playing in Houston on Friday, May 30 at 8 o'clock on Masson 2. The Orioles are going to wear the uniforms of Baltimore's elite giants, played in the Negro Leagues. That Eagles uniform that'll be worn by Houston's of the Houston Eagles. That civil rights game pays tribute to those who fought on and off the field for equal rights. There will be a luncheon on that Friday hosted by the Commissioner Bud Selig. It will honor the poet and author Dr. Maya Angelou, Barry Gordy, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Detroit, and former great football great Jim Brown. They're going to be receiving the awards at that luncheon on that Friday. And the civil rights game has become an annual event since starting back in 2007 as an exhibition game. Now it's one of the games part of the major league season. And the pitch is taken on the inside corner for a strike by Jonathan Scope. And those of you who are collectors, take note, because I have a feeling those uniforms probably are going to be available on auction for charity. Real collector's items. 0-1 count. Major League Baseball went so far as to go to the Negro League Museum, which is located in Kansas City, of course, to make sure that the uniforms are absolutely authentic to those of the original teams that played in the Negro Leagues. So the 2 uniforms that will be worn by the Astros and the Orioles are identical replicas of those elite ball clubs. 0-2 count on Scope. Jonathan hit into a fielder's choice his first time up. And a breaking ball. It'll be dropped. Hannigan will make the play down to first base, and the strikeout is the 3rd for Ramos in the game. That'll bring Joseph up for his 2nd major league plate appearance. Join Holden Kushner, Mel Anthony, and Dave Johnson tomorrow 5 to 6:30 before the Orioles-Rays game. They'll be joined by Orioles pitching rehab coordinator Scott McGregor. And plus you'll have player sound, batting practice, look-ins, preview of the series finale against the Rays. That's all tomorrow at 5 o'clock on MASN.
Saw Scotty McGregor yesterday.
He's here today.
Yeah.
He's down on the field. He's been working in Sarasota with the Oriole players on rehab, just an hour away. Pitch will be taken up high. So Caleb Joseph looking for his first major league hit. And that ball is popped up in the air. That's a tough read in fair territory. Myers came in hoping he was not going to lose sight of that, puts it away, and Joseph is retired.
Yeah, so tough. Anytime there's a pop-up, you have to have great concentration. It gets up there in the ceiling. It's tough to pick up. If you blink, you might lose it. So all 3 infielders gave chase, all 3 concentrating. Myers making the call to come up with the play.
And recording the out for the 2nd in the inning. MARKAKIS top of the order, a base hit, and he has walked. So a chance here for a 1-2-3 inning, which Ramos has not had. He's faced only 3 batters in a couple of innings, but in each of those the Orioles had a base runner taken out by a double play. 2 down. And the pitch taken for a strike. The light Giants, the uniforms the Orioles are going to wear, played in Baltimore from 1938 to 1950 in the Negro Leagues. In Major League Baseball, of course, coming back 1954. This is the year of the anniversary. And that is fouled off into the bullpen and into the seats. And an 0-2 count on MARKAKIS.
Yeah, starting to see more of those real slow curveballs he's offering. 67, 68 miles an hour, just to try to offset the timing of the Orioles hitters. And he's been pretty effective. Take a look at Ramos. 66 pitches, 61% fastballs, 20% breaking balls, 19% off-speed pitches. Really what sets him apart. Now, he has been a long man out of this Rays bullpen for a number of years, but the fact that he does have 4 pitches.
Chopper down to first. He'll cover. And play made by Loney. So there is the first 1-2-3 inning Ramos has had in the game here in St. Petersburg, Florida. Orioles lead it 2-0. achiever in you. By Luna. For a beautiful new carpet, hardwood, and laminate, call 877-241-LUNA. And by AT&T, mobilizing your world. Well, the Rays right now are swimming slowly when it comes to their offense. Being shut down by Bud Norris on just one hit, a single by Joyce in the 4th inning. Orioles have the 2-0 lead, trying to make it 2 in a row in this series, and 4-0 if they can win it against Tampa Bay in the year, but a long way to go. Bottom half of the 5th inning. David DeJesus will lead it off.
I think teams are looking at the Rays and saying, you got to get them while they're down.
Yeah.
Got that rotation in there. It has been a strength of theirs.
That one drilled to right field. That's out of here. Way back, and goodbye, home run. They're on the board. DeJesus now has 3 home runs lifetime off Bud Norris.
Well, DeJesus sees Bud Norris very well. His 3rd home run of the season, and he's been swinging the bat very well for the Rays here recently. See Caleb Joseph setting up away. That ball stays on that middle part of the plate. Does not get it out in the outside corner. And he has had that great success, as Gary mentioned. Now 8 for 15 off Bud Norris with those 3 home runs.
Escobar drew a walk his first time up. He was going for the downs. For Norris, that'll be home run number 5. 4 of those have been hit by left-handers. So the left-handers have had the homers off him. The right-handers have had the average. Escobar to be followed by Hannigan. A 2-1 ball game on the 2nd hit for the Rays. And that will catch the outside corner for a strike. And arguing about it is Escobar. But if you're watching the ball game for the home plate umpire, Clint Fagan, that's been consistent.
Well, yeah, you have to pay attention to the game. I mean, both Rays and Orioles hitters are aware of the strike zone. He's been consistent. You know, he's calling that low pitch on the corners, down and away. I mean, he's not really giving a lot off the plate, but really the bottom of the zone and top of the zone consistently.
1 ball, 2 strike count. And the 1-2 delivery will go to short. Hardy's got it. And Escobar is retired. 1 away here in the 5th inning. Oriole fans can earn rewards for sharing and posting Orioles content social media. Join the O's Bird's Nest. Conversation goes on now at ozbirdsnest.com. Enter tonight's bonus code BAYSOX before midnight to receive 2 bonus tokens and enter to win a monthly prize of an autographed player photo or the year-end prize of 2 tickets to opening day next year. That's at the ozbirdsnest.com. Young man with that t-shirt on, drinking that Pepsi, kind of dour look there. Seems concerned about the Rays having scored a run. Here's Hannigan hitting into a fielder's choice his first time up. He stepped out as Norris was ready to deliver the pitch. And it'll be down low for a ball. Alex Cobb, one of the injured pitchers for the Rays, expected back by the end of the month, maybe even a little sooner. He's been working out each day here with the major league team, and Joe Madden really excited about what he saw in the bullpen yesterday, and he felt good today after throwing in the 90s in the bullpen yesterday. So Cobb's probably going to be the first of those DL pitchers to come back.
Yeah, well, they're not getting Matt Moore back, Tommy John surgery, but to get Alex Cobb and Hellickson back would really help stabilize the rotation.
Cobb with an oblique problem. One of the good ones who's anxious to return, said it all feels fine. Here's the 2-0 delivery on the way, and that's going to be up high. So the count will go to 3-0 on Hannigan, with Zobrist at the top of the order waiting on deck. 3 walks, 4 strikeouts for Norris. Gomes in the bullpen warming up. And the 3-0 delivery, and he walked him. So that will be walk number 4 with 1 away in the 5th inning. Take a look at our Major League Notebook impressive page. Troy Tulowitzki is absolutely tearing it up, especially at home. Look at that average, 608. First player, 600 average with 15 games or more at home since 1933. Tim Hudson of the Giants, at least 7 innings in all 7 starts that he's made this season. And the Atlanta Braves, 5 wins when they've scored 2 runs or fewer. That is the most in the majors, and doing it without their entire pitching staff.
Wow. Some impressive stuff right there. Tulowitzki, of course, the shortstop for the Rockies, and that Arenado are just knocking the cover off the baseball right now.
Well, they are really leading Colorado's surge, as Colorado's gone 21-14. They and the Giants have each won 21 games in that National League West. Ben Zobrist, and the pitch will be up high to him. So suddenly Norris falls behind hitters. He walked Hannigan on 4 straight, and Zobrist the first 2 out of the strike zone, and that will bring Dave Wallace to the mound.
Well, that leadoff home run, he gets Escobar, but boy, couldn't find the zone there against Hannigan, and now 2 quick balls. So Dave Wallace out there to settle him down a little bit, get him back on track.
.79 pitches thrown by Norris so far. Begging the home plate umpire, coming up out to break it up. Dave Wallace will head back. So a little danger here in the 5th inning. It's a 1-run ball game, and you're at the top of the order with a runner on at first base. Hannigan being held by Pierce. For Ben Zobrist, the switch hitter, 273 right, 269 left, and the pitch is missed. So that's going to be 7 in a row out of the strike zone thrown by Norris. He gives Zobrist a green light.
7 balls in a row. I wouldn't, but Zobrist, he's a professional hitter.
He'll take it. Count goes into 3 balls, 1 strike. When I ask that, I'm not necessarily asking that you give an answer. I think fans, if you really want to enjoy the game, fans think about a game that way. It keeps you in the game. If you were a manager, what would you do? 3-1 delivery on the way, and Hardy's got it. No play at first. Hannigan gets back. Zobrist is retired. Again, the shift makes a difference.
Orioles always implementing the shift. Really play hitters' tendencies. J.J. Hardy in the right spot. Nice base running by Hannigan over at first base. Just froze on the line drive. No chance to double him up.
So that will bring Jennings to the plate. Desmond Jennings 0 for 2 in the game, 0 for 7 in the first 2 games of this series. Runner at first now with 2 away. He has struck out, hit into a fielder's choice. But Norris trying to get out of the inning. DeJesus leading it off with a home run. The leadoff batter walked in the first, walked in the second, walked in the third, singled in the fourth, and homered in the 5th. All 5 leadoff batters against Bud Norris on base, yet he's given up only 1 run on 2 hits.
Finding a way.
Short lead at first base, the 0-1 delivery. That's their first strike. Jennings not particularly happy.
Well, Jennings thinking that slider broke down out of the zone, but he has been calling the low strike. Take a look at the pitch track here. Ooh, it's a close one.
Out of the zone, advantage Norris. 0-2 count. Got to protect now, and he does on a fastball up high. So he gets the strikeout. 5 Ks, 1 run, 1 hit. The home run by DeJesus, and it's a 2-1 ball game. Jimenez will take them out against David Price. Coverage on MASN at 6:30 with those extra presented by Dodge, followed by game coverage at 7. All the access you need right here on MASN.
We'll take a look at tomorrow's starters. Ubaldo Jimenez coming off the best start of this season for him. Pitched beautifully against the Minnesota Twins. That earned run average starting to come down. 31 strikeouts in 34 2/3 innings. David Price 3-2 with a 4.44 earned run average. Take a look at the strikeouts to base on ball ratio. 55 strikeouts this season, just 5 walks. So he has been solid in that regard. He has given up 8 home runs though this season. That's second most in the majors.
So in a 2-1 ball game, Manny Machado will lead it off for the Orioles, going to the 6th inning. 2-3-0 for the O's, 1-2-1 the other way. Center field going back Jennings with room. Machado retired 0 for 3.
Well, Ramos been very efficient in this ball game, and he's in uncharted territory. First time in his career pitching into the 6th inning. He's only thrown 68 pitches.
Little break for the bullpen if he can get through this inning. CRUZ coming up. He's hit into a double play, been called out on strikes. Nelson still with that 7-game hit streak. He has had 8 multi-RBI games in the last 16 for the Orioles. That's why he came into the day number 2 in RBIs in the American League. He has been a major force of consistency in the lineup, whether he's DHing or playing left or right field. The 0-1 delivery by the lefty, and that'll be in the dirt, scooped up by Hannigan, and a 1-ball 1-strike count.
Ramos, aside from a couple base on balls, the 2 home runs to Adam Jones, has pitched a really good ball game, mixing up his pitch as well, starting to go to that slow breaking ball to really offset the hitter's timing.
Ooh. Big cut. May have got a piece fouled into the mitt, and a 1-ball 2-strike count.
Good sell on the changeup right there. It's a straight change, but you know, he has some deception. That short arm delivery from the left side, almost like a Zach Britton. I mean, it doesn't come out of his hand near as powerful as Britton, but very tough to pick up for hitters.
Timeout asked for. Ramos had some interesting teammates. He played at Long Beach State University. Evan Longoria was his roommate, along with Troy Tulowitzki. They shared an apartment. And got him. And again, CRUZ not happy with the call, shaking his head no.
And it doesn't like the 89-mile-an-hour fastball here, but Ramos really set it up. It's down and in. It looks like Hannigan really locks it up.
So Madden is going to take him out. Fans kind of saying no, because as Mike said, Ramos has been pretty effective in the ball game, but he is in uncharted territory. An emergency starter because of the injury, so the Rays are going to go to the bullpen. A 2-1 Orioles lead.
Runs both earned, and they were solo shots by Adam Jones. Pretty good performance getting deeper into the ball game. Now Brandon Gomes in 15 games this season, 2-1. Nice low earned run average, 2.87. 11 strikeouts, 6 base on balls though. One of the big reasons why Ramos left this game, because Adam Jones, was standing on deck. He has had a tremendous day.
2 home runs off the Rays starter, so they get him out of there, and Jones will go for 3 against a right-hander. As Gomes works to Jones with a shift on in the infield and 2 down, and he goes after the first pitch again, takes it to right field. Myers. Jones has seen 3 pitches in this ball game and had 2 home runs. Orioles are retired in order. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning with the Orioles up by 1. Fan photo. Young man on Utah Street clearly saying, "You talking to me?" And where's boobs? That's a great shot. So Bud Norris trying to protect this 2-1 lead the Orioles have in the home runs by Jones. All homers in the game. DeJesus got one off Norris to account for the only run Tampa Bay has. Norris did not give up a hit until the 4th inning. Leadoff batter Joyce got the single. The homer came in the 5th inning. DeJesus leading off the inning, and Norris still trying to retire a leadoff batter in this ball game. Joyce a single leading off the 4th inning. Will lead it off here in the 6th.
Quite a pitcher's duel. Only 5 hits total in the ball game. 3 for Baltimore and 2 for Tampa.
And Matt Joyce will take the pitch, and it is there for a strike. Joyce now with the 3 hits, 6 at bats, lifetime off Norris. Infield shift on against the left-hander, and he will lift that one in the air, down the line, foul. CRUZ will not get there. He was shaded the other way. It'll just be a long foul ball and an 0-2 count.
Nice job to get ahead, find a way to put a hitter away here. 0-2.
We said the Orioles with a victory here would get themselves a series win. And that's what you're looking for as you roll along. The Orioles have won 2 and lost 4 series on the road so far. Overall 4-5-1 on the year. Look, Showalter always talking about those series wins. That means 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4. And in this day and age, 2 out of 2. Pitch is taken away with all the 2-game sets now.
All right.
1 ball, 2 strike count on Joyce.
Bud Norris has done a nice job against the lefties, working that outside corner, backdoor cutter, and then that 2-seamer.
He's thrown over 100 pitches all but one of his starts. So he's got a ways to go at 89 right now. Orioles trying to force these starters along an extra couple of outs or even an extra inning as we roll into the second month of the season. That pitch will be away. So the count full, 3 balls and 2 strikes on Joyce. Longoria waiting on deck. Is it possible he would walk his 4th leadoff batter?
No way.
With that count, the shift is put on now, playing him to pull all the way. The infield moves over. Here's the 3-2 delivery, and that worked perfectly. Right into the shift. Jonathan Schoop makes the play, and there's a leadoff batter retired. Voting for the All-Star Game underway at Orioles.com/vote-orange. You can vote up to 35 times, and all fans that would vote at least 25 and select the O's as their favorite team get a voucher good for 10 off any box seat, 5 off any reserve for an Angels series in late July. One lucky fan who votes 35 will get a 14 All-Star Game jersey autographed by the Oriole All-Stars. So vote early, vote often. Orioles.com/vote-orange today. How do you vote for an All-Star team beginning the second month of the season?
Right.
And a pitch outside for a ball, but the All-Star Game has become entertainment. It's not the game. It's a celebration of baseball. It doesn't matter who wins and loses, even though it decides the outcome of the home team advantage in the World Series. It's still an exhibition game. 2-1 lead here for the O's, and the pitch is taken down low and away. Longoria has grounded out twice, and he gets a 2-0 count.
Yeah, traditionally in the All-Star Game, you know, a lot of fan favorites get voted in, but it's nice to see managers recognize some of the players that are, you know, not typical All-Stars.
That's MARKAKIS on the run, and a nice play. He had a long way to go to get to foul territory, and Longoria's retired. 2 down here in the 6th inning. One of the questions, will Derek Jeter go to the All-Star Game and be selected probably by the commissioner if he's not voted in? I would think so.
Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, Derek Jeter's done so much for the game of baseball. He's been, you know, such a class act throughout his career, and great representative not only of the Yankees but Major League Baseball.
So there are 2 down, nobody on here in the 6th, and here is Loney. He has drawn a walk and struck out. He goes after the first pitch and fouls it away. Norris hoping this Tampa Bay offense stays as quiet as it is right now, and basically was in the ball game last night. Tampa Bay ranked 8th in average and 9th in runs. They are 4th in walks received. They've picked up 4 in this ball game. The 0-1 pitch, and that will miss, probably a little bit down low. 1 ball, 1 strike with 2 down.
Well, Caleb Joseph's been impressive here in this first start in his major league career. Really relaxed behind the plate, receiving the ball well. He's made some nice blocks. He's also had to reach out for some pitches, which it's tough to do when you're not familiar with a starting pitcher. Matt Wieters over there trying to heel that elbow out and up. You know, Caleb Joseph has been picking his mind the last couple years in big league camp.
2-1 delivery on the way, and that hit him. Rode inside. That is the 4th hit batter by Norris this year, and Loney is on with 2 down.
Yeah, that's not a soft slider either. That's got some giddy up on it, and it catches Loney in that back knee. It's got to hurt. Now Loney's been worked away pretty much this whole ball game, so that one is a surprise attack. He catches it clean.
Left-hander Brian Mattis for the Orioles in the bullpen. And that will bring Myers to the plate. Dangerous with power. The 0 for 2 in this game and a 1 for 6 so far in the series. And he will take the pitch. That is inside for a ball. Myers, one of their fine young players, and now a visit to the mound. Joseph goes out. Have a word with Norris on what they want to throw here.
Good job by Caleb Joseph. Showing some leadership right there. Trying to get Bud Norris back in the zone. Wants him to finish out this inning.
One 0 count, 2 away. Will Myers, just 23 years old. Timeout asked for at the plate. Myers last year, first time in the big leagues at 293, 335 at bats, and 13 home runs, 53 RBIs. A big entry for him last year. And a swing and a ground ball fair. Great stop, Manny Machado. Throw over to first base. Won't get him, but it may have saved a run. That ball is going to go down into foul territory into the bullpen if he doesn't stop it.
Yeah, nice diving play by Manny Machado, showing his great range. Myers knowing that platinum glove down there at third, so he was hustling out of the box. Look at the effort there by Manny Machado. Gets tangled up underneath him, still able to get it off. Myers hustling down the line.
And that will be it for the Orioles starter. Buck Showalter quickly on his way out. The left-hander ready in the bullpen. DeJesus, left-handed hitter, will be coming up. Bud Norris is out of there with a chance to pick up a victory in this ball game. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by Jiffy Lube. Pitching change should be this quick, just like a Jiffy Lube signature service oil change. At Jiffy Lube, they get you in and out fast, and you never need an appointment.
Strong outing today, just 5 2/3 innings of work, but he had some stuff working. Nasty slider to Jennings. There's an exploding fastball trick to Joyce. Up and away to get Loney. Couple hot hitters. Jennings as well, up and in with the fastball. Some live stuff, but just too many pitches. 101 pitches, 5 2/3 innings of work. But just the one earned run. It was a solo shot by DeJesus, and that's why he exited the game. DeJesus was the next batter. Brian Mattis comes in relief. 14 games, 4.22 earned run average. It's working its way down steadily.
Sean Rodriguez is the pinch hitter, and he goes after the first pitch of the big cut. So DeJesus, the left-hander who had not faced a left-handed pitcher, pulled out of the ball game even with a home run he hit in the 5th. And DeJesus out and Rodriguez in. Rodriguez against the lefties, 269. 3 of his 4 home runs have been hit against left-handers. And he's seen a lot of Brian Mattis. The delivery to him, and that's going to go to center. Jones coming, won't get it. Potential tying run coming. Loney, here's the throw to the plate. Curtis Joseph cannot play it. It's tied. Runners will move up. No play at second. Caleb going out to get it and couldn't. So Rodriguez, a pinch hitter, delivers the base hit. He goes down to second on the throw, and the ball game is tied at 2.
Well, Rodriguez picking up a clutch base hit. Adam Jones coming in hard. Kind of catches his heel, though, on the turf. The ball sails up the line, and Caleb Joseph thinking he can make a play. He moves that glove too quick. Nice piece of hitting. Goes down and gets it with runners in scoring position. Nice aggressive send. You see that effort, just kicks off his glove. And now there's 2 more runners in scoring position.
And another pitching change as Buck Showalter now will go for the matchups.
This season, 5.56 earned run average, 11 strikeouts in his 11 1/3 innings of work, and on this road trip, giving up a couple hits, a couple earned runs, and a walk. Looking to try to keep the ball down. Good sinker, slider, ball pitcher.
For Brian Mattis, he leaves facing just one batter, and the right-handers continue to be the problem for him, hitting over 350 against Brian this year. But Norris still responsible for Myers, the runner on at third base. Escobar has walked and grounded out. 2 in scoring position. 2 down and a run in to tie it up here in the 6th inning. All coming at 2 away. It started with the hit batter. Loney hit by Norris. He's come around to score already. And the pitch will be taken inside by Escobar. Escobar with the 0 for 1 in this ball game against the Orioles on the year. 1 hit in 17 at bats. Of course, a big batter right here in the ball game. Base hit, scores 2. Pitch will be taken outside and falls behind 2-0.
Nice sweeping slider right there from Ryan Webb. Escobar, good job holding up.
Webb has not appeared against the Rays this season. 10th game he's been in against them overall. And the delivery, and that'll be grounded to the hole. Cut off. Jonathan Schoop makes the play and will keep this ball game tied. A run in on 2 hits, 2 are left on. Ball game tied 2-2.
sees off the bat at 102 miles per hour. That's in the first inning. This is his second at bat. First pitch in the fourth inning. 100 miles per hour off his bat once again. Straight away center field. Identical home run. Rodriguez in the pinch hit for DeJesus, who hit a solo shot. Adam Jones up firing. Runners at first and second. Loney evades the tag. And the Rays able to tie it up. Here's a look at the starters. Bud Norris 5 2/3. He threw 101 pitches out of the ball game, and Cesar Ramos 5 2/3 as well. The 2 earned runs, the solo shots by Adam Jones. Pretty tight ball game right here. Not many hits. 3 for the O's, 4 for the Rays.
Gomes came on and got the final out in the 6th inning. That'll bring up J.J. Hardy. Hardy's lined out and reached on an error.
Hey, Gary, I wanted to remind you that Geico 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
I guess I'll have to make a call now that you told me that. 1-0 count. Appreciate the help.
Yeah, just want to let you know.
Save every buck you can. The delivery to Hardy, and that will be in there for a strike. So we go to the 7th inning of this ball game, and as the game was last night, very tight. Orioles came away with the 2 runs in the 8th inning to pick up a 5-3 win. And here we are in the 7th, ball game tied at 2-2. Gomes delivers to him. That ball put up in the air towards left center. Jennings over. Now, Mike, I want to tell you this. When the Orioles win, you know everybody wins, because all season long when the Orioles get 5 or more runs, you get 50% off the regular menu price online orders at papajohns.com. Just enter the code Orioles5. And as you well know, better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. It's valid at participating Baltimore area Papa John's.
That is great to know. You know, the Orioles score over 5 runs on the road this season, so
yes,
a lot of pizza.
A lot of pizza the next day. Good for breakfast, good for lunch, good for dinner. And the pitch is taken down low for a ball. Young lined out and has been called out on strikes at a hard line drive to Escobar, who made a fine play on him, robbed him of a hit in his last at bat. Young, the designated hitter for the Orioles.
Hey, think about this game as it's progressed. There have been some fabulous defensive plays. As that ball rides up and in on Delmon Young. Defensive plays that could potentially, if they weren't turned or made, could have led to big innings. Take a look at this fastball from Gomes, just riding hard. The 2-seamer in on Young. Tries to hold up as the ball chases his bat.
That's about where that ball was that he lined to short. Pitch that was coming in on him, and somehow he got the bat head on. 1 ball, 1 strike count on Young. Gomes delivery to him and goes back outside and will miss with that one. So this one turned over to the bullpen. The 2 starters non-decisioned in the ball game, and it's up to the pen now to decide the outcome of this one. Young has faced Gomes only once, says Bud Norris for the Orioles. His record will remain at 2-2. 2 ball, 1 strike delivery, and that's a strike at the letters. Came back inside, 2-2.
Well, after seeing a pitch on the inside corner that ran in and almost caught his knuckles, kind of locked him up right there. That ball held true on the inside corner.
Gomes, the high set, and the 2-2. Again, clearly they want to stay away from that power of Young, trying to keep it on that bat handle as he came inside and fouled it off again, 2-2.
Yeah, you got to appreciate, I mean, pitchers that can command and how they mix up their pitches and try to set up other pitches. You know, the prior pitch, a little cutter that stayed on the inside corner, and then right back to that 2-seamer that ran in off the plate. I mean, obviously a ball, but so hard for a hitter to lay off it.
Here's the 2-2 delivery again, and went outside. We just had our poetry in motion moment with the entire Tampa Bay team leaning towards right field. Everybody moved. He pitched to that spot. Ball gets hit. It's going to be to the right side. So the whole team just laid its way over. 3 ball, 2 strike count. Delivered to Delmon, and he grounds that one towards short. Escobar with that big arm. Well, Matt Wieters back with the ball club, examined today. No elbow surgery necessary, at least not now. Had a chance to talk with him before the ball game as he returned today.
Anytime you can't really tell with MRIs what's new, what's old, and so it's a matter of just trying to figure out, what's been there and what was just a little bit agitated, and we'll figure that as it goes on, but really the main thing is just try and let it rest for a little while and then get back going and see how you feel.
Not naming the injury, except just a problem with the elbow, discomfort when he throws, no problem when he hits from either side of the plate, and is expected to be the designated hitter in the ball game tomorrow.
Now you wonder, baseball players, it's such an unnatural thing. Just throw a baseball. Get on top and throw your arm, your shoulder, your elbow. A lot of things happen, and through the course of your life, you've thrown so many balls. Things have gotten torn and re-healed, and you don't even know it. You play through it, and sometimes scar tissue builds up in areas.
That's into the shift, and that's a base hit. So Steve Pearce is on with a single here in the 7th inning. The great news, of course, number one, there would not be surgery required, according to Dr. Anderson. Two, that it's probably not going to have to go on the DL.
Yeah, that is great news. Matt Wieters, one of the big-time offensive contributors this season, for the Orioles, and not even talk about his defensive presence behind the plate.
Matt hustled back today. I think he had hoped he was going to be put back in as the DH.
I bet he did.
But he'd had a long day. He flew up there early this morning, flew back up to the ballpark late this afternoon. Here's Jonathan Schoop, runner on. Each team with 4 hits now. Pitch on the inside corner. Schoop's had an 0 for 2 in the ball game. Fielder's choice, and he has struck out. 2-4-1 for the Orioles. Same thing for the Rays. 2-4-1. Rays have left 6. The Orioles have left only 2. Gomes, runner held at first. The 0-1 delivery. Schoop will chop that one foul.
A little too quick on that swing. Pretty good pitch for Jonathan Schoop to hit. May have pulled off it. Want to do a little bit more than what he had to do.
Oh, 2-2 out. Gomes trying to hold it right here. Pierce at first, not going. Drilled in the air, left field. That ball is deep, and goodbye, home run. Jonathan Schoop delivers a 2 RBI homer with 2 down here in the 7th inning. That is his 3rd of the year. RBIs 11 and 12, and the Orioles take the lead. And our Alexis of Towson drive of the game.
Wow, mistake pitch here to Jonathan Schoop. He has done some damage on balls on the inner third. Take a look at the drive of the game. It stays over that inner third, doesn't run in like it was doing on Delmon Young, and he gets the bat head to it quick and hammers it down that left field line. That's a big time home run, giving the Orioles that 2-run lead.
Well, the rookie comes through. Orioles up 4-2. And the drive of the game brought to you by Lexus of Towson, the area's #1 Lexus dealer. Come see why at lexusoftowson.com. Jonathan Schoop, he has showed power. We mentioned earlier in the ballgame about the extra base hits. He's picked up 7 doubles, 3 home runs on the season. And a ground ball to third. Longoria backing up on it. Caleb Joseph hustling down. Good pick made by Loney at first base, and that will retire the side. 7th inning stretch time. The Orioles on the home run by Jonathan Schoop take a 4-2 lead. with Chris Davis. Just visit Facebook.com/Masson Orioles. Click on Enter Sweepstakes for your chance to win. The Orioles have the 4-2 lead in the ball game. Ryan Webb's got a chance to be the winner via the home run of Jonathan Schoop. The Orioles using the long ball in the ball game. Jones has 2 home runs and the 2-run homer by Jonathan Schoop, and that's given him the 2-run lead. With Caleb Joseph working behind the plate in his major league debut, a little Twitter chatter, and thanks to some of the teammates at AAA, and then a bunch of us found a place to watch Caleb's debut tonight. There in Louisville, they had a day game to there. That from Steve Johnson, the Orioles AAA team in Norfolk.
Oh, that's great. You know, they love seeing guys promoted. They know how hard Caleb Joseph's worked. There's so many organizational guys that have really worked hard to get to this level and appreciate the hard work he's put in. And a lot of guys in AAA have experienced, you know, what it's like in the big leagues. So everybody excited for Caleb Joseph, and a lot of guys there hoping they get it their turn next.
Yep. So the Orioles up. We go to the bottom half of the 7th inning. And the pitch will be taken inside by Ryan Hannigan. Hannigan has walked, hit into a fielder's choice. 4 runs, 5 hits for the Orioles, 2 runs, 4 hits for the Rays. Webb came on to get the final out in the 6th inning. Stays on here in the 7th. Pretty much straight away on Hannigan. And that pitch will be inside.
You know, I think one of the biggest tributes you can pay to a professional hitter nowadays is if the defense plays straight up. And I mean, it shows you have the ability to use the whole field. Here, Hannigan, defense as straight as it can possibly be. See Nick MARKAKIS from the Orioles. You know, they play straight up on him. The ability to use the whole field, scatter the ball everywhere, and keep that defense honest.
2-0 delivery, and that'll be inside. Hannigan is 3rd among American League catchers in RBIs with 17. Matt Wieters is the leader, is 2nd rather. Kurt Suzuki the leader with 22. Wieters with 18, and then Hannigan with 17 RBIs as a catcher. Got a 3-0 count here. They want to get that potential tying run to the plate. He'll take, and he does, and it's there for a strike. The 3-1, Zach Britton in the bullpen for the Orioles. Mattis worked no part of an inning, gave up a hit. Norris 5 2/3, 2 runs, 3 hits. Hannigan trying to get on to the top of the order, and he takes a strike. Thought about it, leaned over and took a look. Didn't pull the trigger, and it's 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Good pitch right there to get back into this count. Take a look at the pitch track. Working that 2-seam fastball up and in on Hannigan. Ryan Webb much more effective down in the zone. Get that ball working. It gets a little bit of a sink. Right now when it's up, it runs and stays flat. Becomes more hittable.
3-2 delivery, and he gets the ground ball to third base. Machado in the big hop. Play over to Pierce, and there's one away here in the 7th inning. Maryland residents with a valid driver's license can now visit Orioles.com/plates to bid on license plates numbers 1955 through 1959, the team's first 5 seasons in Baltimore. Bidding for these special numbers closes 10 p.m. Sunday. Proceeds benefit the Orioles Charitable Foundation. Celebrate this anniversary of the Orioles and have some Birdland memories. That's Orioles.com/plates. Ben Zobrist at the top of the order, 0 for 2 and a walk in the ball game, and the pitch will be inside. One-0 delivery. We have to tell the story. Caleb Joseph and how he got here. Ron Johnson, the manager at AAA, did one of those wonderful things that only managers can do. Caleb Joseph, he already knew, the manager did, that Joseph was going to be called up. Joseph didn't know it. He was on the field yesterday, scheduled to be the starting catcher in the ball game. His team was out warming up. He was talking with a former teammate playing for the opponent. And as only Ron Johnson could, he came over to him angrily and said, you know, I think I've seen enough of this. This fraternizing has got to go. Get out there with your teammates. He went out with his teammates. Then Johnson went out and said, you know something? I'm scratching you. You're not going to start in the ball game today. I've seen enough of this. Well, he was just beside himself, apologizing all over the place to Ron Johnson. I'm sorry, we will never do it again. It will never happen. I swear. And then Ron Johnson said, yeah, by the way, we're also scratching you because you're going to go to Florida tomorrow. And he had him. He had the hook in, awesome. And he was pulling.
I think that is great. I mean, man, oh, man. Ron Johnson, he's called up or sent up some guys plenty times in his career. So no stranger to that. And I'm sure it was a great feeling for him. And Caleb Joseph, such a good kid, to be able to pull something over like that on him. That's pretty special. Caleb will never forget that, that's for sure.
And fouled it off his own foot, leg, ankle. Zobrist will get back up here with a 2-2 count.
Here's a look at Ryan Webb's sweeping slider, and it starts chasing him, and Zobrist trying to get the bat head to it, and really all he can do is pound it off his shin. Take a look at the movement there in the zone. Just that 5 feet, you saw that ball cut across the plate. It might have caught his back leg anyway if he didn't swing. So one way or another, it looked like he was probably going to get hit with the baseball.
Maybe a guard on that tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Only hurts when you think about it, and you can't stop thinking about it. Zobrist with a 2-ball, 2-strike count. And the 2-2 delivery to him, and that'll be inside. Orioles had a 2-0 lead. Rays made it 2-1, tied it up in the 6th inning, 2-2, and then the Orioles came right back in the 7th inning on the Jonathan Schoop 2 RBI homer to go up 4-2. 3-2 delivery and a ground ball to the hole. Schoop dives, makes the play, and records the out. Pretty impressive tonight at second base.
Yeah, there's been some nice defensive plays all around the field. Both teams. Jonathan Schoop here taking a deep angle. The deep angle, great concentration, and we talked about his clock. He didn't rush this play at all. Made sure he secured the baseball and the good flip over to Steve Pearce. Nice play for Jonathan Schoop.
Have to adjust for this carpet, don't you?
Yeah, you sure do. I mean, it is quick out there. You know, the turf itself is quick. Once it hits the dirt, it kind of picks up speed. I was talking with J.J. Hardy earlier about this field, and yeah, he said it is lightning. You have to be prepared, and you try to get as many ground balls as you can when you come into the, the trop, just to acclimate yourself to how quick it actually is.
Desmond Jennings, 2 down and nobody on. We were talking before the ball game, Mike, about the fact it gets faster as the game goes along.
Yeah,
because of the dirt. Right?
Yeah, the dirt gets harder because there's concrete underneath this whole field. They lay the turf on top of it, and the concrete sucks the moisture out of the dirt, and it gets so hard. J.J. Hardy said there was an actual crack about 3 feet long in the infield.
Another one that's going to take the big bounce. Jonathan Schoop stayed back on it, and Webb retires the side in order on 3 ground balls. Take a look at our Mazda doo-ups. Nick Markakis, leadoff batter, Manny Machado, and Nelson Cruz coming up when we come back. Blue Shield contributes $50 to support Be More for Healthy Babies. The Orioles have 72 walks, $3,600. Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield encourages each of us to take that first step towards a healthier and more active lifestyle. Orioles are going to get to see another left-hander as they have the 4-2 lead going to the 8th inning.
Yeah, a little different one here, though. Jake McGee, 15 games this season, 2-0 record, 188 earned run average, 14 punch-outs, just 4 base on balls, and he is a power pitcher. Opponents hitting 220. Lefties up to 353. That's a little odd. Righties down to 152. He's got 2 pitches. He's got a 95 to 98 mile an hour 4-seam fastball that he throws pretty much 90% of the time. He does have a curveball as well, but he will challenge hitters, both lefties and righties, his power fastballs.
So McGee on, and the Orioles will have the top of the order. Nick MARKAKIS to lead it off against him. MARKAKIS 4 for 7 lifetime off McGee. Nick has continued his hit streak to 14 games, a single that he picked up in his first at bat. Part of the 1 for 3 he's had in the ball game. And McGee's pitch, the fastball, 93 miles an hour, will be in there for a strike. Orioles trying to make it 2 in a row here, set up chance for a series sweep tomorrow. Like to add to that 4-2 lead. Breaking ball. It's going to be taken inside. Only 5 hits in the game for the Orioles, 4 for the Rays, but using the long ball tonight. The Orioles came in tied for 12th in the American League in homers and have hit 3 of them in this ball game, and that is a strike. Nick turns to look, and it goes to 1-2.
Questionable top of the zone there. Nick MARKAKIS well aware of his strike zone. We've seen a lot of hitters turn around and question, but pitch track showing it's catching the top. Just a tough pitch to get to at 95.
And that one's going to be even a little bit higher, and he doesn't go after it and evens up the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. McGee has not worked against the Orioles this season, but the Orioles have faced him past years. 2-2 delivery, and that's there, and he knew it. So McGee comes on, gets the strikeout, and 1 down in the 8th inning.
Well, consistently staying away. 1 breaking ball in this at bat. Look at the pitch track here, up and away, and this one kind of leaks back over the plate, but the great velocity. MARKAKIS might have been thinking of that breaking ball.
Machado's got a 1 for 6 off the left-hander. Gomes worked an inning and a third, gave up 2 runs, 2 hits, the home run to Jonathan Scope. He's the pitcher of record right now on the losing side. Right to second base, Zobrist, and there are 2 down. And a couple of fairly quick outs here in the 8th inning. Follow every Orioles game all season long. MLB.com at bat, your favorite mobile phone or tablet. It brings you baseball wherever you are. Look-ins, instant replays. You get the free MLB TV game of the day, classic games, and more. Go to MLB.com at bat. Get it at the App Store or Orioles.com. Oriole fans waiting this one out here at the Trop. 2 down, bases empty. Here is CRUZ, 0 for 3. And he'll take the pitch on the inside corner for a strike. 1 at bat, 1 hit. Lifetime off McGee.
He really likes that side of the plate. We saw him pitch to MARKAKIS away primarily with his fastball. He can get it in there on righties.
Got that one with a little sink to it. And the count goes to 0-2. McGee worked against the Yankees. That was on the 4th. That was his last appearance. Worked an inning. No runs, 1 hit. Showing his fastball all the way to the backstop.
Yeah, hit the ball. Just took off.
And the count goes to a ball and 2 strikes on CRUZ.
I don't know how the pitch track picked up that 3rd pitch, but it's there. At the top.
Here's the 1-2 delivery down to 3rd. Worm eater. Longoria's got time and records the out. So a 1-2-3 inning by McGee. We go to the bottom of the 8th, in the middle of the order will be coming up. Joyce will lead it off. The Orioles have the 4-2 lead. Descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Baltimore Orioles. So the Orioles looking for the outs to get a win. They are up 4-2.
Zach Britton now in the ball game. He threw in yesterday's game an inning and a third, one base on balls, but basically shut him down. He is off to a phenomenal start this season. 14 games, 3-0 record, .93 earned run average. 19 and a third innings work. So Buck Showalter not afraid to use him. Just 11 hits, 14 punch outs on the season. Real good fastball. He has found the command of that, and it has life like you haven't seen. 94, 95 miles an hour. Pins in the zone. It darts down. Sometimes it'll cut down and in. Really effective pitch for Zach Britton.
David Lowe comes in defensively in left field with CRUZ out of the ball game. And the shift is put on as Zach Britton goes to work, and a swing and a big cut taken by Joyce. Joyce has had a base hit. He is 1 for 3 in the ball game. Joyce against Britton, 0 for 3 lifetime. So Zach Britton becoming a real good end of the game guy in close ball games, and gets the strike call and is ahead 0-2.
Well, maybe after that first fastball from Britton, he said, I might want to try to bunt. Zach Britton, short arm, 93, 94 miles an hour. That one sneaks up on him. Able to get ahead 0-2.
Zach working in his third game this year against the Rays. Has shut him down. Chops it foul. He's worked 4 innings, no runs on 2 hits, a couple of walks, and 3 strikeouts for Britton against the Rays this year. Oh, 2 count on Joyce, Longoria, and then Loney. But Britton wants to get Joyce out of there. You don't want Longoria coming up with anybody on base if you can prevent it. Here's the 0-2 delivery to him, and that one's going to be up in a 1-ball 2-strike count.
Just overthrew that one, but that's okay. Not a bad waste pitch. Changed the eye level a little bit. Boy, we saw Zach Britton last night's ball game, a couple great breaking balls as well. Let's see if Caleb wants to go to that.
Again, pitch up. So now he'll come after him with a count at 2 balls and 2 strikes on Joyce. Joyce coming into the ball game hitting .250 against the Orioles in the previous games played. 3 of them, all won by the O's. 2-2 delivery to him, and he got it in. Down to first base. Pierce, the big hop, will go himself. And they get the all-important leadoff batter. Joyce is retired. One down, bottom of the 8th.
You better be expecting a ground ball when Zach Britton's on the mound. Steve Pierce has been playing some solid defense. Good job adjusting there.
Here's Evan Longoria, taking an 0 for 3 in the ballgame. He's had 1 hit, 7 at bats in these 2 games. That was the 2-run homer he got in the first inning of the ball game last night. Darren O'Day for the Orioles. And Britton's delivery to him. Ooh.
He hit it hard, but that is just the filthy pitch down in the zone. Longoria trying hard to catch up to it. That late movement, he just beats it off the inside of his foot. Need some ice bags after this ball game. It's all padded up.
That'll find a spot.
Yeah, I think that one found the shoe.
So Longoria back in with a 1-strike count. Longoria against Britton, 2 for 10. 11,282 the attendance here tonight. 11,282 tickets sold. And the pitch is outside. So 1 ball, 1-strike count. And Longoria, he'd love to drive one, but perhaps even more important, get on. They want to bring the potential tying run to the plate. Outfield deep on him. 1 ball, 1-strike delivery. Grounded to third and foul. Britton will get ahead of him, 1-2.
Really not a lot. You see some of the greatest hitters in the game. Zach Britton's fastball is down in the zone. Very rarely can they square him up. A lot of ground balls. Longoria trying to get to it. One off his foot and then pulls that one foul on the ground. It's when Zach elevates, that's when it flattens out and guys can potentially do some damage.
1-2 delivery on the way, and he got him. Kept that ball down on a 94-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah, beautiful pitch. Great location right there. Our best hitters in the game. He just challenges him down and in. Beautiful pitch. Hit that spot 3 times in that at bat. Why not go right back to it?
So Britton 2 down here in the 8th inning. Loney coming up. Loney's 0 for 3 against him. Loney hit by a pitch, scored in the 6th inning. DeJesus an RBI home run before he came out of the game. Rodriguez, who pinch hit for him, an RBI base hit. The 2 runs for the Rays. And for Zach Britton now with that strikeout he just recorded, that's 15 strikeouts that he has picked up in 20 innings worked this season. He has walked 7. Opponent batting average 162 against him. And he'll get a comebacker right on the mound. Plenty of time. Almost threw it away. Pierce had to get down to get it. But a 1-2-3 inning. Britton's going to stay on, smile, and apologize to his first baseman. Thanks for the help. The Orioles remain on top by a score of 4-2. We go to the 9th. Tonight's baseball on Masson is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com. And by Navy Federal Credit Union. 4 million members, 4 million stories. Navy Federal Credit Union. Gary Thorne, Mike Wardick here at the Trop. The Orioles a 4-2 lead, and we go to the 9th inning.
The Rays once again going to the bullpen. Make some adjustments off Adam Jones. It's Josh Lukey in the ball game. He's a big power arm, 6'5", 245. 16 games, 4.82 earned run average, 11 strikeouts, just 4 walks. He has had a tendency to have some inconsistency with his command, but a power arm, fastball, a slurve, and a splitter to go along with it.
Lukey, left-handers 318 against him, right-handers 306. He's been touched up. He leads the Rays relievers 17th appearance, 18 2/3 innings. Jones has seen 3 pitches, has 2 home runs, and he takes a pitch, and it's up high for a ball.
Take a look at Adam Jones. First inning on the, or second inning on the left, 4th inning on the right. Almost identical location of the pitch and identical results. Pretty amazing right there. He gets his front foot up at the same time, pitches in the same spot, and identical swing, and the ball almost landed in the same spot off the center field wall.
Way out there, 404 plus away. He's never had a 3-homer ball game. He will take the pitch for a strike. Not many have. Adams got 3 home runs on the season now, and the 17 RBIs. Orioles have been led, of course, by CRUZ with his 29 runs batted in. He's the only one with 20 or more. 1 ball, 1 strike count on Jones. Josh Lukey in for McGee, who retired the 3 batters that he faced. And Jones, that one stayed in. Fastball, 1-2.
A couple breaking balls to Adam Jones. Lukey starts him off with, but that's a look at his good 2-seam fastball. If he keeps it down in the zone, he gets some really good run on it. And that was a good one there.
Adam with a 1-for-1 in the only times he has faced this right-hander. Lukey with that rocking set. Here's the 1-2 delivery. And Jones up the middle. It'll be backhanded. Zobrist, his running throw. Fine play. Records the out. Jones denied a base hit.
Zobrist playing some good defense at second base. Started a double play early in the ball game. Turned one with Escobar. And now take a look at his range. Adam Jones reaching out. It looks like it's going to be a base hit. Well, with the shift on, Zobrist ranging over to the shortstop side. Close play at first. But Zobrist gets him.
So the leadoff man retired. And here's J.J. Hardy. Reached on an error, 0 for 3 in the ball game. And Lukey's pitch taken away for a ball. J.J. now has not had a home run in 45 games, not including this one. 179 at bats since his last homer. He'd like to get that one out of the way. 1-0 count. He's been the leading home run hitter for shortstops over the last few seasons. And that pitch is going to miss down low. Fastball, and the count goes to 2-0.
Good opportunity for him here. Lukey, that marginal command, wants to throw a strike. J.J. Hardy, good hitters count.
Hardy, a 279 lifetime average against these Rays. That's saying a lot with the staff that they've had over the years. And he'll get a base hit there into right field. Byers will play it back in. Hardy is on with a single here in the top of the 9th inning. The Orioles have their 6th hit.
Pretty sound approach right there by J.J. Hardy. Not trying to do too much, actually. He wasn't looking for that first home run. He wanted a base hit. Stayed on it, went the other way. Clean single to right.
Delmon Young, the Orioles DH. Young has had an 0 for 3. Runner at first. The Orioles trying to add to that 2-run lead. Infield playing him to pull. Lookie's delivery to him, and that'll be a high slider taken for a strike. There is Matt Wieters talking to Buck Showalter, probably saying, "Why didn't you play me tonight? I should be playing. I'll like to pinch hit. Put me in, put me in, put me in."
I'm sure Buck Showalter's thought of it. I mean, if it was, if the situation was right.
That ball in the air to center. Jennings coming. It'll be a base hit. So Young picks up a single, and the Orioles, with one away here in the ninth, have back-to-back singles off Lukey and a chance to add to that 2-run lead.
Delmon Young picking up a base hit right off the end of the bat. Kind of make it all evens out, right? Line drive to shortstop, takes away a hit, and then off the end of the bat picks up a single.
It was one of those where I think Jennings' first reaction was on the swing.
Yeah.
Because it looked like a real hard swing, but it wasn't hit that hard.
Right.
And he couldn't get in to get it. Normally off the bat, if he reads it right, he'd make a catch on that ball. So 1 down. Let's see what the Orioles can do with it. Here is Pierce, a single and a run scored. 1 for 2 and a walk in the ball game. There have not been a lot of chances with runners in scoring position in this game for either team. The home runs being used by both ball clubs. Only 2 left on by the Orioles. Now he's back in the second inning. And Pierce will take the pitch for a strike. Oriole closer ready to go. It is a save situation at the moment. Oh, 1. Runners off first and second for the Orioles, and the delivery reached for and fouled back by Pierce.
Steve Pierce puts together some good at bats in this ball game, but also in yesterday's ball game. The bottom of the lineup was so important to that victory. Well, Pierce carrying it over here. Base hit, a nice at bat to work a base on ball. Of course, Jonathan Schoop, the home run, 2-run home run to give the Orioles the lead. So bottom part of the order coming through again.
2 down, as Mike said, and Pierce got that base hit to keep the inning alive for Jonathan Schoop in that 7th inning. Hardy off second base, Young off first. 0-2. Lukey's delivery to him, jammed him. Fought that one off foul. Count will stay at 2 strikes.
He did that last night. The pitch looked like it was going to hit him in the leg, and he hooked it up over the Orioles dugout. About the same pitch there.
Real chance for Pierce. Play every day with Davis out at first base. You got to try and take advantage of the situations and make your mark. Well, the Orioles clearly feel strongly enough about Pierce that they didn't done what they did to sign him again as a free agent. Here's the 0-2 delivery on the way, and another one inside. He did. Ooh. That's Marty Foster said he went around on that. It looked like he held up.
Yeah, Buck doesn't agree with it. Steve Pierce doesn't agree with it. The hands go forward. Whoa. Pretty close, huh?
Yep, closer than I thought.
Yeah.
So the strikeout recorded. And now there are 2 down here in the 8th inning. Here is Schoop. Big blow for the lead.
Yeah, gets a fastball in that inner third, and that quick bat. Such a big, strong kid. That ball's out in a second. And the celebratory handshake with Nelson Cruz.
So now runner on at first and second for him, and Schoop will take the pitch up high for a ball. 2 down. The Orioles up. Top of the 9th inning. Right now, Ryan Webb a chance to be the winner in this ball game. Gomes would be the loser if it stays an Orioles lead. And the Orioles, a little insurance here in the 9th inning. They can get it with 2 down. Not holding. Hardy at second base. Good lead for him. Young off first. And the 1-0 delivery. And that's fouled off the other way. He does get through that strike zone in a hurry. That bat flashes through the strike zone with that swing he's got, and it's powerful.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, he creates great leverage. He's a big kid, 6'3", And those arms, when they get out in front, it doesn't take much for that ball to carry, but he's strong too. So when he does catch a fastball or even a slider out in front of the plate with that bat speed and the leverage, the ball goes a long way.
1 ball, 1 strike count. Lukey on in relief delivers to him and fouled off as he tried to check his swing.
It's happened a couple times to Jonathan Schoop. Some balls riding in on him. Leads with the hands. Oh, that one caught actually the barrel. See that bat head drop and catches it on the end. Almost got a piece of Hannigan again.
Here's the 1-2 delivery to him, and he got him. Hannigan's got to make the play at first, and he does. So a couple of strikeouts to end the inning. No runs on 2 hits, no errors. 2 are left on base. Orioles need 3 outs. Tommy Hunter gets it. He'll have a save, and here he comes. There you take a look outside, inside. The Orioles try and hustle those 3 outs from their closer.
Well, Tommy Hunter picked up a save in last night's ball game. 13 games this season. He's got 9 saves on the season. That's tied for most in the American League. 10 opportunities, 11 2/3 innings of work with the 11 punch-outs. Just 3 base on balls for Tommy Hunter. There's a look at last night. 1-inning pitch. He gave up the 1 hit, a couple walks. It was a nail-biter, but he pulled it through. Great competitor, really. You know, he knows how to bear down when he has to, and he did in last night's ball game.
22 pitches thrown in the ball game last night to record the outs needed to get out of the ball game. Let's see how he does here tonight. He gave up a single and a walk to start the bottom of the 9th inning before turning it around. He will be facing Myers, Rodriguez, and Escobar due up here in the bottom of the 9th. Will Myers base hit his last time up, 1 for 3. He's got a 5-game hit streak. A couple of hits in 7 at bats in the series so far. Tommy Hunter will try and make it a little easier on himself than he did last night. And Myers will take the pitch up high for a ball. And the bottom of the 9th is underway. Hunter, the 1-0 count on Myers. That's down low, 2-0. Tommy's been averaging just under 18, 17.7 pitches per inning pitch. And it obviously is almost entirely the 9th inning. Those serve who wait and watch.
Yeah. What were those emotions there, do you think?
Prayer. 2-0 is hit in the air, left center field. Low going back, low reaching, can't get it. It'll take a hop off the wall into second base. Myers, and he's got a leadoff double.
A 2-0 cutter from Tommy Hunter, and it looked like it was going to work its way off the end of the bat. Take a look at the pitch track. It's on the outer third, but Myers with those long arms, he's able to get the bat head on it and actually beats David Lowe to that gap. Pick up a double to start the ninth.
So again, Tommy Hunter will work with the leadoff man on, and the potential tying run at the plate. Sean Rodriguez. Rodriguez pinch hit, 6th inning, picked up the base hit. Designated hitter now for DeJesus, who delivered a home run. Showed bunt. Did he go after it? Yes, he did. Artie Foster at first base on the call, and a 1-strike count.
Pretty interesting right there, just showing the bunt. Tommy Hunter, the opponent batting average with runners on. He bears down 192 batting average. Bases empty, though. That's when he gives them up. 444 with the home run.
Rodriguez 1 for 4, a homer off Hunter. And that's on the outside corner for a strike. So Tommy will get ahead. 0-2. Escobar, the number 8 hitter, waiting on deck. Myers picking up the double at second. 5 hits for the Rays, 7 for the Orioles. Rays have left 6 on base in the ball game. 3 of those in scoring position. Rodriguez does not go after that.
Rodriguez has been a pretty dangerous hitter here in the early part of the season. Of course, picked up a base hit in his last at bat, but 9 of his 13 hits have been extra base hits. He's got 4 home runs and limited playing time.
1-2 delivery. Tommy Hunter this year is 2 for 2 in saves against this Tampa Bay team. Caleb Joseph will head out to have a word with him. That runner on at second. Tommy's never blown a save against Tampa Bay. 3 for 3. 2-2 delivery on the way. Rodriguez takes close. 3-2.
Good try. Look at the velocity, 97 miles an hour. You don't know if he took that. It's because of the velocity locked him up, or if he thought it was a ball. But take a look at the pitch track, consistently trying to hit that spot down and away. Just missing off the edge.
3-2 the count. Runner on second base. Rodriguez takes, and he's gone, and he knew it. Could not unload on that, and Hunter gets him for the strikeout.
Well, this is what really has helped Tommy Hunter out. The ability to throw the breaking ball for a strike. Look at the slider. Ends up hanging on to that inner third of the plate. Good call and nice job executing the pitch by Tommy Hunter. A one-time starter, so he has, he has the full arsenal to go to, and he's shown great command of the breaking ball.
Here's Janel Escobar. Escobar, a walk, a couple of ground ball outs. Runner still at second, now 1 away. Hunter's delivery to him. Escobar will take it, and it will miss inside for ball 1. Escobar has hit Hunter well, 7 for 23 with 2 home runs. Myers with a double at second. In the dirt. Joseph the stop, and the count goes to 2-0.
Caleb Joseph has had a sensational game behind the plate. A couple real good blocks. He's reached out and caught some sliders out in front that he didn't have to block. Just show his versatility and athleticism as a catcher behind the plate, but just so quiet as well with his glove.
2-0 delivery, rip shot into center field. Late start for Myers. They'll hold the runner at third. Don't need to record an out there. So Escobar continues his hot inning against the Orioles closer. Runners on at first and third now with 1 away.
Yeah, this pitch, not bad location, outer third, but he rockets it right back up the middle. Tommy Hunter almost got a piece of leather on that one.
Logan Forsythe will come on as the pinch runner at first base. He represents the potential tying run in this ball game. So Forsythe on. Hannigan, the number 9 hitter, the catcher, has drawn a walk 0 for 2 at the plate. Ground ball, this ball game's over. Base hit, it's a 1-run game. Mentioned before, this Tampa Bay team, a lot of ground ball double plays. Hunter is looking for one of those right now. First and third, 1 out. Zobrist, top of the order, the on-deck batter, if they get there. Hunter's delivery to him. Breaking ball tied him up in their first strike.
Good pitch right there from Tommy Hunter to get ahead. We've seen him use his cut fastball. He holds good velocity with it, 91, 92 miles an hour. Fastball gets up in the mid-90s, sometimes high 90s. He's already hit 97 in this ball game. The big breaking ball. Got to keep it down, though. Try to get that ground ball.
0-1. That'll be fouled away. Hannigan wanted that one. Talks to himself as he fouled it back. And the count goes 2-2, so Hunter gets Hannigan where he wants him.
14 pitches, 71% fastballs. That's up. A couple of them have been cutters.
Here's the 0-2 delivery on the way, and Hannigan will watch it outside. 1 ball, 2 strike count.
Not a bad pitch, though. Got to be careful. We talked about Hannigan, how they defense him pretty much straight up. Orioles in double play at double play depth, and that big hole over there, he has the ability to shoot that hole, especially with 2 strikes. Might shorten up.
That's going to be down the line. That's going to be a base hit. MARKAKIS going over. Myers will score. More importantly, going to third is Forsythe, and it is a 4-3 ball game. Still only 1 away.
Take a look at the pitch from Tommy Hunter. It is a cut fastball, but it stays up in the zone, a pitch he can handle, and he does stay on it and shoot it the opposite way. Scoring Myers. Good base running by Forsythe, heading over to third base.
Brandon Geyer will come on to run for Hannigan at first base. So it is now a 1-run affair. The potential tying run at third base with only 1 down, and Zobrist will be coming to the plate. Zobrist with a 5 for 17 off Hunter. Then Zobrist, a walk, and then the strikeout, a line out, and the ground ball out. The pacing, Buck Showalter. Nobody up in the bullpen. This is all about Tommy Hunter. First and third, runner will be held at first base. Geyer. And Zobrist will foul it away. Manny Machado is just off the cut of the grass at third.
Zobrist has shown bunt. He showed it in the first ball game, so Manny's got to honor that.
Two-run lead cut to 1 here in the 9th. Each team now with 7 hits. 0-1 delivery. Zobrist, a little nubber. Big out. Hardy comes over to get it. And there are 2 down.
What a great pitch right there from Tommy Hunter. Started him off with a 2-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour away, and then cuts this one. You could see that action just riding in on the hands. J.J. Hardy there for the soft line.
So there are 2 down. Here is Desmond Jennings. He's had an 0 for 4 in the game and 0 for 9 in the 2 games. Jennings 4 for 10 with 1 home run off Hunter. The Orioles 1 out away from winning it. The Rays 1 hit away from tying it. 2 down. Jennings will take the pitch for a strike. Tommy Hunter's not had a 1-2-3 inning this year, yet he is atop the leaderboard in saves in the American League. As he goes after this save for 2 nights in a row, if he can get it against the Rays. 109 for 10 in save opportunities. Here's the 0-1 delivery, up high. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Want to be careful and keep it down. That first pitch he threw for a strike. Love to stay down in that part of the plate. Home plate umpire Clint Fagan's been calling it down there. You see the pitch track, that first pitch, beautiful location.
1-1 delivery to him, right into the glove. Ball game is over. A line drive handled by Tommy Hunter. He keeps it interesting, but he keeps getting the saves. And the Orioles have beaten the Rays by a score of 4-3, guaranteeing themselves a series win, taking the first 2 and keeping you watching the game. Join us again tomorrow, series finale. Can they sweep? Ubaldo Jimenez takes them out against David Price. Coverage at 6:30 on MASSANO's Extra, presented by Dodge. Our game action at 7. This has been a MASSA presentation. Tom and Rick, another happy recap. O's Extra, presented by PNC, is coming up right now. The Orioles win it 4-3 over the Rays. For Mike Wardick and all of our crew here at the Trop, I'm Gary Thorne. Adieu, adieu.